Now the stretch. Here it comes. Swing, and there's a drive deep into right field. Way back there. Goodbye! A home run for the game and for the pennant. The Giants have won the pennant. And Travis Ishikawa is being clobbered by his teammates as he comes down the third base line, and he is mobbed at home plate. A walk-off home run to win the National League pennant.
You're listening to a podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants with hosts Willie Dills, Chad King, and Ben Lee.
Let's go Giants! Let's go Giants!
Dedicated to the greatest team in Major League Baseball history, the San Francisco Giants. This is TortureCast.
Standing on top, not gonna stop. We came to play, ain't slowing down. We're here to stay, and we're stopping on whatever's in our way. I'm feeling like a Giant tonight.
Welcome, everybody, to the TortureCast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants, the World Series-bound San Francisco Giants. My name is Willie Dills, and we're doing it again, boys. We are doing it again. The sweet sounds of Ashcon are in our ears, and this is episode 75, and this will mark our World Series preview episode. I could not be more excited, and I could not be more excited to have the two gentlemen who are with me currently and the gentleman who will be joining us shortly. First, let's introduce one of my co-hosts, Chad King. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, you know, we kind of faded off numbering or naming these episodes after players because we were running out of jersey numbers, but this would be
This is pretty perfect. This is the Barry Zito.
This is perfect. It's the Barry Zito right after we beat the Cardinals, after what happened 2 years ago. It's completely perfect, so...
All of this has been perfect, and we're going to talk all about the perfection that has been this postseason so far. It's been insane, and we're glad to have Eric returning for the third straight week to talk about this Giants team and the upcoming World Series. Eric Nathanson, welcome back to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me again, guys. I can't stop smiling. I can't stop smiling. I'm so ready for this to start.
Please do not stop smiling. I hope that nothing wipes that smile off your face over the next week. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to go back over the St. Louis series. We had talked about games 1 and 2 when we did the show last week. So at that point, we were all pretty much predicting 6 games, and the Giants exceeded our expectations and did it in 5. So thanks for that. There was a few reasons why that was especially good for me. One being that, you know, they got to do it at home, which was amazing. And the other being I had a golf tournament on Saturday. Chad, you were there too. And if they had to play game 6, it would have been, and we were talking about this, it would have either been at 1 or I guess the Royals didn't have to play, so it might have been at 5. Either way, it would have really screwed up our golf game. So thank God they got it done in 5. We got to go golfing. It was amazing. A lot of Giants colors out there on the golf course that day.
I've never seen
fantastic.
so much black and orange on the golf course. It was incredible.
Yeah. It was not just the MGA members too. It was everybody, like the whole city. I was in the parking lot pulling my clubs out of my trunk, and I hear these 2 middle-aged women, and one goes, "And I mean the Giants," and then they both just start freaking out. And it's like we've gone through it a couple times now here in the city, but the entire city just turns into rabid baseball town. And sure, some of them are bandwagon. I could not give 2 fucks. Come on in, guys. Let's all celebrate.
There's room
it's fine
for everyone.
It is totally fine.
I love the bandwagon.
Yeah, I'm good with it. If I was partying with only hardcore fans in the bar, it wouldn't be nearly as exciting and loud. So
come aboard, enjoy the ride.
Yep, exactly. And then you can go away for a while, and we'll do the misery thing every other year.
They won't give a crap about hot stove transactions or anything like that. But it's all good.
But join us again on every even year. That's what they're here for. All right, so let's go over the Seattle. I was thinking
Seahawks.
I was thinking about the Seahawks
you?
the other day. Yeah. So anyway, let's start with the St. Louis series. It was amazing in so many ways. Even though the Giants have done this now a couple times, I feel like each time tops the one before it, doesn't it?
It's got me giddy. I think they're playing with house money right now, but I don't, like you said, I don't give a shit. When I'm hot, when I'm hot in the casino, I don't feel embarrassed about it. I
No.
keep it rolling. So
Exactly.
I'm like, this ain't going to stop, man.
But we saw them come back from down 2-0. We saw them come back from down 3-1. Somehow this was still even more magical because of some of the moments that happened, even though we crushed them 4-1.
It was so different from all the other ones. Like the Phillies series was such a fight back in 2010. And
Literally, they fought. Yeah.
Yeah, and then even 2 years ago, the Giants came back from 3-1, but they blew them out in those 3 games. This year, it felt like a fight with the cherry on top of Travis hitting that home run.
Yeah, it was. It was like we kind of had the feeling that we were going to win the games, but every single one had torture. Every single one was coming from behind or battling out in close moments, and it was just one of those. Like the whole series was just from top to bottom. How could, if you're a baseball fan, how could you not be excited about a baseball series like that? It was insane. I loved every minute of it. I think we've got Ben Lee on the phone now. What's up, Ben? Welcome to the show.
Oh, hey, howdy. I'm running on copious amounts of jet lag and coffee. How's everybody doing?
We're doing good, man. We're running on copious amounts of Giants joyousness. So
I've got some of that. I've got some of that too. It's just getting
You
over
gotta
it.
have some of that going with you.
yeah,
Oh,
that
no, for sure.
doesn't go no matter how tired you are.
I have tickets for the CONCACAF Women's Championship tomorrow to be able to watch the Mexico women's soccer team. And even though I've already paid for it, I'm going to ditch them so I can watch Game 1.
I was going to say, one of these things is not like the other.
Hey, I got to see the United States women's national team today, and they won 6-0. And I'd say it was pretty awesome, except that they were playing against Haiti.
Oh,
So-
the Haiti powerhouse of women's
That's-
soccer. Yeah.
Really a threatening. I mean, they did win one game in this group of 3. The United States won all 3 games, and therefore is moving on. Also, America, also guns, also our nation's capital.
Well, good to hear that you're ditching it.
Let's talk about the games that we didn't get a chance to talk about last week. Of course, we were 1-1 when we had the podcast last week, and we went ahead and swept the next 3. So, pretty insane, I think, how the Giants were able to kind of put it all together at the moments they needed to. So, Game 3, that is the 5-4 walk-off bunt game that will forever go down in history as everybody couldn't wait to do the Randy Choke jokes after that one.
Oh,
right?
yeah. The door's wide open with his name.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't make myself do some of them, but man, there were a lot.
Yeah, it was the obvious joke. But here's the thing. I don't think that you can really put that one on Choate, because what really happened there was the Giants just put the pressure on again, like we had talked about. It was another instance of, loading the bases and making them. I'm not even loading the bases. It was just a moment.
It was second and third and pressure.
Yeah, just another moment of just getting the guys on base and putting the pressure on. And the guy who's bunting has speed.
Yeah.
The guy who's bunting has speed.
You guys sound like rational analysts.
Yeah, what's going on here?
I mean,
Well, that's the problem, is the rational analysts aren't going to do any rational analyzing, so somebody has to do
I
it.
can't believe you're not using the word luck.
Yeah, no, it was totally lucky. You're right. Never mind. Moving on.
So anyway,
Game 4.
everybody
Game
hates
4.
us because obviously we didn't come by this by real means. Got it. Moving on.
Yeah. Game 4, we got incredibly lucky.
So it's going to be talent versus luck in this World Series. All right.
Yeah, and talent's on the Royals side. Go figure.
Yeah. Game 4 was, of course, the game where we got incredibly lucky when Matt Adams threw a ball a little late to home plate, and then also decided to make the very strange decision to step on first and throw to second with a runner on third. Don't know why, but luck for us again. So Giants strike. We go
The Giants are the shadow. They strike fear into the minds and hearts of opponents, who then totally forget how to play baseball for all of 5 seconds.
Exactly. Yeah, he's
That's
like
all they need.
Matt Adams is barely a professional baseball player, other than the fact that he took Strickland deep, and he's and also beat the
Because the
Dodgers.
fact that he can hit balls very, very, very far, but that doesn't make him a defensive first baseman.
Power hitting first baseman. But I thought he actually had a fairly decent series up until then defensively.
Yeah,
and
I
then
mean, we weren't talking about him until then, which is
No.
significant.
We
Or,
were
well,
talking
we
I don't
were,
know.
but
I
only when
thought
took
he had a
Strickland.
really good game in Game 4. He was like top notch defensively. As a Giants fan, Matt Adams just came through.
What you're saying is
really did. We were looking for a big play from him, and he came through for us. So thanks a
Matt.
lot.
Is this
All right, but all of that,
the old NLCS MVP Matt Adams,
all of that was just the lead up.
NLCS MVP Brooks Conrad.
Brooks Conrad, yeah.
Mike
Yeah.
Matheny.
All of that was just the lead up to the insane luck that we found in Game 5.
Yeah, I know. It was really lucky the way that those bats just ran into the ball like that. Like no one saw that coming.
Joe Panic lucked one over the right field wall, and then Morse lucked one over the left field wall, and then Ishikawa lucked one to right center. One of the hardest spots to luck one out in the whole ballpark. So
isn't it weird the way that the ball took a crazy bounce off of the bat?
Yeah. But everything about Game 5 was just absolutely beautiful. I mean, it was another like nail biter. Another nail biter game the entire time. It could have gone either way. And I think, Eric, you had tweeted about one of the games that we played earlier against Washington, that this game felt like a game the Giants would lose. And I got that sense in that Game 5 that during the season, this was a game I would have felt the Giants were going to lose, because we oftentimes could not find a big hit like that. And many, many times during the season. But I did not feel that way this time. And Eric, did you get the feeling that, like, I know you know what I'm talking about. How did you feel? You were down?
Well, that's the thing, is they don't shut it down anymore. There are times where, like in mid-August, mid-June, we would feel like they'd lay over and die. Mm-hmm. And this was the type of game that they would do that, because Wainwright with that curveball was just phenomenal during that game. He shut down the middle of the order with all strikeouts. I think it was the 6th inning where he killed them, and it just felt like one of those games like, okay, the Giants have rolled over and died, but then Bruce
and they
did his thing. Yeah.
Can we talk about Wainwright being just a crafty son of a monkey too? I mean, changing his delivery and then stutter steps and like slow delivery, fast pitch. And I mean, Wainwright was doing everything to try and just say, you cannot have any more timing off of me.
That was the thing. It was like Ryan Zimmerman for Washington. You were so happy to see Wainwright get out of the game that was when you finally knew the Giants had a chance, was when Wainwright was gone. I mean, none of us thought that Pat Neshek was going to get bludgeoned like he did from Michael Morse. But, I mean, it felt like anybody but Adam Wainwright would be better. Just like it felt like anybody but Jordan Zimmerman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Wainwright, yeah. He was actually doing a lot of really interesting things, like you said, Ben, with the ball. And he did look like maybe, because the word on him had been that he had a little bit of soreness going on, and he wasn't maybe the same guy he always was, but he proved that he's a big game pitcher. He's a veteran guy, and he knows how to get what he has working. Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
And if you can be very, very smart, and if you can figure out how to disrupt hitters, then you can get by. And that's really what he was doing, is he was figuring out how to disrupt hitters and get by in a way that just the Giants just could not figure out, because when you run into actual pitching, suddenly our team gets very confused sometimes.
I am going to point out one thing, though, about even when the Giants were getting set down in order, I felt like they were all still putting on good at-bats, which is something you couldn't have said about the Giants in the middle of this season. This was a team that would go up hacking on the first pitch a lot of times when things would start going bad, and they did not revert to those ways. They still put on strong at bats. They still worked counts, and eventually they got to him. They didn't get to him, but they got to them. So
right. Well, and I mean, I was impressed by the fact that it was so rare for them to strike out during a lot of this series, except for Wainwright got those 3 in a row, which was really impressive. But it was more impressive because you realized how little any of that team had struck out. And quite frankly, I mean, I think Panic still has like 2.
Yeah,
for the series, 1.
He's been incredible,
for the
and the whole team has. The whole team has, and that's another thing when people talk about the Giants getting lucky. The Giants are putting the ball in play, and then you have to now do the thing where you catch it and throw them out. And
put the ball in play, things happen.
Yeah, they have the lowest strikeout per at bat ratio so far out of any team.
Yeah. So that's huge.
Forget how much harder it is to actually do these things at a professional level when you get paid to baseball, when you have to do it all the time. Yeah. And against guys who are fast and with guys on base and, in pressure situations, even getting paid to baseball does not actually make you immune from derping while you baseball.
No, absolutely. And you could see, actually, I think the Giants' mentality as a team has a little bit altered from the fact that maybe we don't have our biggest guys out there. We don't have Pagan. Morse has now finally come in and made a statement, but we had kind of a patchwork team out there on the field. And so you could kind of get the sense that they were, as a team collectively, were saying, well, if we're going to win, we're going to all have to do everything that we can individually and as a team because we don't have our biggest guys out there. We are actually kind of running on fumes at this point in the season without our best talent. So if we're going to win, we got to scrap for it. And they are scrapping like I've never seen the Giants scrap before. So
well, except possibly for parts of Game 5. I mean, that was we were scrapping just to stay in.
At that point,
game,
we turned into the Yankees and we just started bombing them instead.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah. But that can happen sometimes.
Strange. Well, and it was rough because right after the first play that Ishikawa made when he was in left field, it was really the first time that he had looked like a first baseman in left field the entire series or the entire postseason, which really speaks.
Did.
Yeah, which it was a bad route, and you can't it was so much harder to say. If it had been Angel Pagan taking a bad route, I would have complained because he does that all the time. But Ishikawa taking a bad route, what are you going to say? It was just so
bound to happen.
It was actually unexpected, and that was, I think, the strangest thing about it because it's not his natural position. He hadn't even played there prior to.
The fact that was the first time we talked about it was kind of crazy. So
really, though,
I totally rolled with it. It was bound to happen one of these times. And the fact that did you guys hear the stories about how the whole team went to him afterwards and was all, don't worry about it, we got you, don't worry about it. He said from players to trainers came to him. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's the
difference with the Giants team
like that during NLCS.
Yeah,
potentially.
Because that's a big moment, and you. It's a big moment, and you want to feel like your team is going to pick you up, and that's exactly what the message is at that point is, hey, man, we're going to pick you up. Don't worry about it. And then he was like, you know what? I'm going to pick myself up. Fuck you. I got this.
I don't think he expected it either. That was the thing. I mean, I think he kind of knew that the Giants were good people, but, everybody kind of being a family like that, I don't think Travis expected it. I wouldn't surprise me if that's what helped him have confidence later.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think for me, I see it as the difference between Bumgarner telling Ishikawa, look, it's going to happen. It's going to be all right. We'll figure this out. I got out of it. It's going to be okay. Versus John Lester turning around and screaming at Randall Grichuk when a ball took a really weird spin off the bat.
Oh, he was so pissed at him,
Yeah, he was.
He was yelling at...
Too. There's another moment, too, in that game where Bochy could have, and maybe in most cases should have, removed Ishikawa for Perez for defensive purposes in a tie ball game, and didn't. Left him in there, let him play it out, and then he gets an at-bat in the ninth inning. I think that's another huge vote of confidence for Ishikawa that
totally agree.
Bochy decided, I'm going to actually not remove you as I have been doing in a lot of games because we want you to take another at-bat.
Yeah, despite the fact that you've been hitting well, you're still, it is a defensive upgrade to put Perez out there, and we know it. But Boch said, you know what, I need some offense. I'm going to stick to my guns. I got a good feeling about it. And somehow he can do no wrong in the postseason, so it was fine.
He's just got a magic button because he even admitted in the regular season, normally the take sign would have been on that 2-0 count.
On a 2-0 with 6 balls in a row?
Yeah, and, Flan was looking at him, kind of half expecting the take sign.
I'm sure Ishikawa was going, really?
Yeah, and Bochy, he said, you know what? Nah, not putting it on. Go ahead. And sure enough.
Well, he waited. Wrong. Yeah, he waited for that pitch too. I remember right before that pitch, saying out loud, he needs a shot. He needs something right where his stuff is over the center of the plate to just turn on. Yeah. Inside baseball term is cock shot, and I don't know if you have to use that. But that was the only thing I wanted to see him swing at, and that's exactly what he delivered, and he turned on.
Well, at the time, Waka, too, was throwing, poor location, but also he was basically pigeonholing himself into a fastball at that pitch. So from a baseball perspective, it also makes sense when you know the pitcher's going to throw a fastball. You know Ishikawa can hit a fastball. And when you get to look location and pitch, then you are any big leaguer is like a 600 hitter when you get to do both, and you get it.
It's funny you mentioned that, and I haven't looked at the numbers yet, and I'm going to now, but not right now. Count leverage, it seems like the Giants are in so many more 3-1, 2-0 counts than their opposition is during this entire playoff run. It seems like they're always in a better position to hit than their opponents are.
No, I actually would love to hear the stats on that. That would be really interesting because it does feel that way, and it historically with the Giants, at least this season, hasn't felt that way very often. It's felt like they're just rolling over the first pitch, or they're popping it up, and right now they're not, and they're getting into counts where they can actually drive the ball. And there's been a lot of situations where they've driven the ball straight into someone's glove, and it could have been a lot of these games could have been just like absolute blowouts if we get a little bit of BABIP in our favor, you know. Pablo's had a couple of rocket shots right at people. We've seen Panic have a few. Like, there's been a lot of them, and it's just great to see the Giants hitting the ball hard. All right, I want to go around the horn real quick before we move on to some of the big questions, armchair managers, all that stuff. And I just want to get more joy, Morse or Ishikawa in Game 5 there? Like, when did you feel? I mean, obviously Ishikawa is the default. Like, of course, well, we just whatever. That's the joyous one. We win. But
I mean, what he's been through too, and just like the look on his face, freaking out and like pushing guys out of the way. Like, there was more time for us to see it. I will say. But
I felt like to me personally, the Morse home run is one I'm actually going to remember almost as much. If not more, because of just the sheer joy in Morse's face from the moment he hit the ball and knew it was a home run to getting to the dugout. Just everything about that moment from a guy has been sitting there hoping to hell that he could contribute in this run because he's loved being a Giant this season, and he has been super bummed that he got hurt at just the wrong time. And so, as much as we can say the Ishikawa story is amazing, and we all love Ishikawa because we've known him for a long time now, and he's gone through he's like the Ryan Vogel song of this season, right? But Morse has come in and just been one of the best clubhouse guys we've had in a long time. Like one of the best friends of Pence and everything. And his post-game interviews, to everything he said since, like, I say logically we don't keep him next season, right? But like emotionally, I just never want to see the man leave San Francisco ever again, right?
Yeah.
So Chad, I mean, how did you feel like that home run? Like, what did that home run feel like?
He's like 6'4", 250 pounds, and he looked like he was a 12-year-old running around those bases. It was fantastic, and I mean, you saw him back in the dugout, and you could tell that he didn't believe what just happened because he had those wide, Google eyes basically, and he was pulling his hair back with that huge smile, just with the holy shit that really just happened. I mean, it was a real genuine moment. It was really sweet not to see your typical, major leaguer maybe watch it, fly a little bit, do a bat flip, and I know it, I got it, whatever. He, true, genuine emotion, absolutely was ecstatic to help the team. His first home run since, was it August, I guess, or something like that? He's only had 3 at-bats.
Yeah, he had a home run after he hadn't hit one in forever when he started to kind of get hot again when he came back, and then he went down. So
all I can say is right place, right time. Bochy pulled the right string again against a nasty right-hander who made a mistake. But hey, Giants got lucky.
He did make a mistake, but it doesn't mean that arm angle makes it easy to hit, no matter.
Oh, no, not at all.
And it doesn't mean it's easy to hit when you haven't been hitting live pitching at all. And, you come in for maybe the biggest at-bat of your entire career.
That's the thing. He did it off of Pat Neshek. That guy had been killing the Giants all series long. Yeah. He had absolutely – when he came in the game, you went, shit, they got to wait till the next inning to put something together. You knew he was just going to mow them down. And then Morse hits the home run. Honestly, what I was thinking when Morse hit the home run was, oh, my God, the Giants are going to the World Series.
Exactly.
There was no way they were losing that game once he hit that home run. It just wasn't going to happen.
That's like when Duffy scored. I thought they were going to win that game too.
Absolutely. Once you know that they have the last ups, they have tied this game up in the 8th inning, and Morse did it after Bochy pulled the right string, this game's over. Let's move on. I just didn't expect it to be the way Travis did it. Like, that's kind of gravy on the cake.
I did feel like the Giants were going to find one more run at that point. I was like, we find one more somewhere. Yeah.
Because you really you take the wind out of the Cardinals' sails when you do that. They're just like they're coasting. Waiter was coasting. Pat Neshek is a perfectly good, serviceable reliever, and here's
the thing: if you go to the Cardinals subreddit, throughout that series, which I did, I've talked about it a lot on these shows, that I love to go.
I'm still not sure how I should feel about the fact you did that.
I just lurk them though. I don't
lurked. Yeah.
I don't get out there and try to cause fights or anything. I just lurk it because I want to know what the fans of the other team are saying. If you went there the entire time, they were saying Nishak should be closing. Forget Rosenthal. Get him out of here. Get everybody out of here. It's Nishak all the way. That guy's going to carry us. And for us to then beat him in that situation, just felt like, yeah, that's it. Nail in the coffin. Tied. Sure, I get that. But that's just a formality, like that it's tied right now. That is just, we are on our way. And I was in a bar surrounded by people who were freaking out. And we all suddenly we were so nervous going into that inning, that at bat, the last half of this game, and the panic home run was definitely a lift of the spirits. But this home run just felt like, boom, done. We got this.
A panic home run was so improbable though that it was like the perfect setup for all this to go like, well, anything really can happen in the postseason.
Exactly. Yeah. Sorry, Eric, you were going to say something?
When you talk about the way Nishak, every time Nishak got yanked, I had a tendency to tweet, "Why are they pulling him?
Yeah,
Why not just leave him?"
Yeah,
because he shut them down every time. Nishak was the one guy I didn't want to face. There was nobody else in the Cardinals bullpen that scared me, but that guy. And for some reason, Morse hits it off that guy.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. There's a little bit of behind the scenes stuff that happens here. First, he had another at bat off of him, so he'd seen him right in the series, and he got a tip from Barry Bonds to put his foot down.
Yeah.
Said, get your foot down a little earlier, and you'll be able to turn on the ball a little bit better. And guess what happened? He got his foot down real quick. If you watch the slow-mo replay, he actually didn't get it off the sweet spot either. So that's just a strong man.
Top of the bat, yeah.
Just a strong man ball out. Yep. Yeah. And that's you don't lose that when you get hurt.
Just because I didn't get to actually watch the home run, where was the pitch? Did it look like it was a mistake?
Slider.
It was hanging slider inside. Yeah, it was towards him. So
yeah, he hit it up the barrel a little bit, but he still muscle manned it out. It went 384 feet, I believe. So he hit that sucker to center or right center. It's an out.
Yeah, he hit it to the right spot of the ballpark. Yeah. Which, if you think about Game 2, when the Cardinals hit 4 home runs, every single one of them went down the line. I mean, they didn't. There was no, you think about Ishikawa's went out to,
he
deep,
crushed it.
Yeah.
Panics was down the line, but in the playoffs, it's hard to get these strongman home runs. You don't see so many of them like you saw. Like you saw the Belt, you saw Harper.
Absolutely.
Yeah, some of the, Adams. Some of these were like big man shots, but for the most part,
Grichuk, I think even
you can't capitalize on mistakes because pitchers make far less mistakes because they bear down on every pitch. So and I heard Morse talking about it afterwards. He said, it's hard to hit a home run in the postseason, but I looked for a pitch that I could hit hard, and I got it, and that's why I was able to do it. But he was not thinking home run.
No.
He was thinking hit. I need a hit. Because the idea there behind him pinch hitting was we just need a hit, and then we're going to put Duffy in as a pinch runner, right? I mean, that was the idea.
Right, logically.
Yeah. But no need for Duffy. You just run around bases yourself.
Yeah, run around those bases yourself.
Yeah, if you're down by 1 and you're trying to get on base, you might as well put up the guy who might also hit one out too. So
right.
Exactly.
We're actually going to pinch run Duffy while you round second. So
he's a fantastic weapon as a pinch hitter.
It's going to be an Emmanuel Burris moment where Emmanuel Burris gets the run scored, but Benji Molina gets the home run because replay was just starting.
The thing is you have to feel good with Morse. I mean, Morse got his oblique strain at the right time to be able to come back and be able to swing the bat. Where you look at like Yadier Molina, his oblique strain basically took him out for good.
You know what Ishikawa would probably say? Morse got his injury at just the right time to allow Ishikawa a moment to really
allow Ishikawa to hit a home run in the ninth, yeah,
and for Morse to get a chance to do that right ahead of him. So Ishikawa gets to start in place of the guy he replaced. The guy he replaced still gets to be a postseason hero, and then so does Ishikawa. Like, you can't write it up better than that.
No, it's
so
silly.
Okay. Couple of things I want to bring up here. If Yadier Molina doesn't go down, how does this series change? Let's start with you, Chad. How does this series change if Molina doesn't go down?
The backup catcher, he had a home run in the game anyway. He was pretty serviceable.
Cruz did, not Przinsky.
Sorry, Cruz, not Przinsky.
Let's make that clear.
When I say the backup catcher, I'm thinking Cruz, yes.
Fewer boos.
Yeah, Przinsky, I believe, had one RBI single, but
was it an RBI?
Yeah, he did have an RBI single.
Oh,
he did.
All right.
Yeah.
I forgot that the run scored. I was just too busy screaming that Przinsky did something.
So
Willie was just trying to block it all out. Just no, there is no Przinsky on my TV screen. Get away from me.
Ever.
Yeah, both guys had a couple of hits, and other than the Matt Duffy wild pitch that Yadier might have been able to block, I think they were serviceable. So I don't know if it had a really huge impact because you cannot say that Molina would have got out there and hit 3 home runs. You don't know what he would have done. So
no, I don't think he would have.
Obviously, the Cardinals fans would have rather had him out there, just like if Posey had gone down. Same thing.
Absolutely.
We'd be like, oh, we would have won the series if Posey was in there.
Well, Andrew Susak, who actually might have been okay,
But here's the deal, though. I again, lurking on the Cardinals subreddit, a lot of them were saying, oh, well, once Molina went down, that was it. We weren't going to win. It's like, you know what? We entered this series without Pagan.
Yeah.
You dipshits, settle down.
Molina going down was it. I even wrote it in between the 2 games in St. Louis and the 3 games in San Francisco. Molina going down was so huge for just the pitching staff.
I'm not denying that. I'm not denying
but it's the impact of it. And when you're a team that's it is a little bit like Buster going down. I mean, Pagan wasn't as much as Pagan was the spark plug. He's not the heart and soul of the offense. Not by a long shot.
No, that's very true. But historically, and Chad, we talked about this in 2011 extensively, or 2013 extensively. That when Pagan goes down after the game-winning inside the park home run was the turning tide of that season.
Yeah, it was.
And
absolutely. But
for us to come into the playoffs without him for good, we know he's never coming back. That's a big obstacle to hurdle, right? I mean, it's massive.
But I would say that as far as we're talking clubhouse impact, it's
no,
bad.
absolutely. I agree, and I agree that he's more comparable to a Posey injury.
Yeah, it's the difference between losing Matt Holliday and losing Buster Posey, and which guy on the team goes down, it's gonna hurt them no matter what. And anybody who's looking back at it and going, "Well, we lost the series," can say that's the point when we lost it. But the Cardinals fans, some of them were saying at the time, "This is the point when I started worrying right away." And I would have said the same thing if Buster Posey had strained enough. I'm going to knock on.
Buster Posey goes down.
That's immediately the point where I go, ooh, oh no. As opposed to let's say that Gregor Blanco goes down. I'm worried, but we'll end up putting Juan Perez in, and we'll have to figure out who's going to lead off and blah blah blah. But if somebody who's really the heart and soul of that offense, which is basically at this point Posey or Pablo.
No, I agree. I think the psychological impact probably had more of an impact than anything, because even though the players have to come out with a game face on and say that, hey, no problem, we're with Yachty, we're just going to plug him in and we're just going to fight this one out. There's a little bit of an impact on morale, and if I remember the statistics correctly, pitchers with Molina catching, ERA was 2.78, and with anyone else, it was 4.03.
Yeah,
more than a run higher.
More than a run higher. But the thing is, the Cardinals still played well. There were a couple of derps, but those
discount the Cardinals' effort. Yeah,
right. No, and they were. I mean, so it was my counter argument to the thing I just said. The psychological impact.
Don't fight yourself.
Definitely. That's what I do all the time.
Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
It's all that I'm good at. When I was a child and there were Chinese and Russian gang wars, I used to ask whether I should be punching myself in the face or what, because I'm both. So the thing is, the psychological impact was, it should have been a big deal. And looking back at it, it's what a lot of Cardinals fans are going to say, this is where I knew that it might be over, where I felt like it might be it. The Cardinals didn't really play like that was it. They never once played like that was it. It was really
game he went down in. So
right. So what I really
didn't give up. Yeah.
I imagine them laying out Yachty in the middle of the clubhouse, having him lie down on one of the stretchers, carted in, and just having him look up at somebody and just tell them, "Do it for the giver." That's pretty much exactly how I imagine that, because they came out and they played their asses off the rest of that series.
It was 4-1, and aside from game one, which you felt pretty comfortable going into the ninth with a 3-0 lead. Every other game was a nail biter and was won at the end. Game 2, of course, the Cardinals walk off after the Giants tie it with 2 outs in the 9th. You get the Giants win Game 3 on a walk-off in the 10th. You get Game 4, same thing. The Giants were down 4-3 until a 3-run 6 put them up. And then, of course, Game 5, it's, down by 1. They tie it in the 8th, and they win it in the 9th. Any one of those games could have gone the other way. And it could be the Cardinals walking away 4-1 or 4-2. But the Giants just somehow know how to capitalize on the mistakes that the other teams make, and they don't make those mistakes.
No, we got lucky.
That's the fulcrum. Yeah, we got lucky.
Yeah, in the end, we got lucky that we didn't make any mistakes. You're right.
26 snake eyes in a row. How do I keep doing this?
But I mean, it's worth pointing out too. Like you guys know as well as I do, because we all follow certain amounts of baseball Twitter, that as soon as this series happened, everyone you knew that wasn't a Cards fan or a Giants fan or had some interest in one of those teams went, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening again. This is the stupidest NLCS ever."
Yeah,
including friends of mine at work who are friends of other teams who were just like, "Yeah, I'm over this."
Yeah,
and
our baseball is like, I'll guarantee you that your Phillies fan coworker was like, stupid.
Oh man, that was the most upset I think I have ever heard him about us getting into the series. And he's dating a Giants fan, and he was just like,
yeah.
I'm
sure you can't stand it. Yeah,
he's pointed out there are a few of you that I'm happy for. You're one, and I was like, I appreciate that because I don't mind the Phillies most of the time. But the thing is,
they gave us Pence, so thank you very much.
The thing is, though, even the ones that were like, this is going to be a stupid series, I can't stand this, I can't believe this is happening, were like, this was fucking exciting.
It really was
ridiculous.
If you hate on this series, you just hate baseball, and you just shouldn't watch.
If you hated on this series after the fact, then you just hate baseball. Yeah. If you hated on it beforehand, then you are totally justified in my mind, because you are absolutely right.
It's like watching Yankees Red Sox in the AL East NLCS.
It's like saying, "Oh look, it's going to be a Yankees Cardinals World Series."
Yeah. There was a long time where it's Bulls Celtics or whatever the crap
Yankees
was.
Reds. Great.
Pistons Lakers, or like there was all those like times where it was like, okay, the teams that are always in it are in it. That's stupid.
Look, the Spurs are in the championship.
What was the Giants Patriots or whatever, like that Super Bowl? I was like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered.
Yeah, anything New York, Boston is just like, oh, please stop.
So, all right. So that being said, we all understand that Molina, yes, huge blow.
Certainly important.
You got to, as a Giants fan, you have to understand that the huge blow was there, but you cannot take anything ever away from the Giants team who did what they did, because the Cardinals team continued to fight, and we had to win those ball games. We had to go out and
really had to grind those out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I give all credit to the Giants, and this team is for sure something special because they have more fight in them with much less talent than even 2010 when it was the Misfits. I think even in the Misfits era, that was Posey at his finest. We had a team that was gelling in so many ways at that point. And 2012, I think, was the most talented of the three so far. That was the team
2012 had an offense.
Easily. Yeah. 2012 was like, we should win, but why aren't we? Oh, we are. Like that was that year. This year is like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to beat the Nationals? How are we going to beat the Royals who haven't lost yet? It's like a never ending. How is this going to happen? And somehow it's happening. So, all right, let's move on to we talked about the Cardinals stuff. I think it's time to start looking forward because that's what's happening. We're moving forward, you guys. Can you believe it?
We're moving on.
There's actually a World Series to play.
There's still a lot of baseball to come. My liver is not yet done shriveling and dying. All right, so the big question. Let's talk about
world cirrhosis.
Exactly. That's pretty good. We should make a shirt. Have you guys seen the shirts, by the way? Favorite shirt so far of the favorite just any paraphernalia. Mine is the Mad Bum chugging 6 beers T-shirt that just recently came out.
I haven't seen that.
When in doubt,
it's called mad bumming apparently. Yeah. So I will definitely be mad bumming if we win the World Series. I'm gonna get the champagne, but then I will also go out and buy like a 6-pack of the Budweiser in the bottles that are metal, and then I'm just gonna turn 6 of them up in my mouth.
My question is, are you going to figure out how to manage 6 all at once, or like 7 all at once, or are you going to have
big mitts of a Bumgarner? But I think I can manage it.
Right. I'm just saying
that's going to be a tough one.
Because is the backup plan to have like Clayton or somebody grab an extra bottle and hold it over you the way that Mad Bum had to do?
Yeah, he had that extra champagne
maybe
bottle
I'll
in the
ask
middle
for
there.
some assistance in my mad bumming. Sure, why not? All right, let's do the big
They're going to need it. Like, you just have to tell the lady at Zeke's to bring out a mop in advance, just knowing that you're going to need it.
Just know.
Also an extra
Look
shirt.
like I pissed the floor right here, but it's not. It's just beer. All right, so Chad, you've got the first big question. Why don't you pose this question to us, sir?
All right, it's more rhetorical because I just want to hear from you guys a rationale. Does
Okay.
Bochy even consider starting Petit instead of Vogie?
No, I don't think he does.
I think you consider it, but I think that Petit has been such a good long man this whole time that I think it would worry him to actually change that role because it's working so well as it is.
Working well. Yeah, that's a very good point, Ben. That it's working well, but it's
that
kind
means
of like
that
the
we're-
Lincecum of 2012, right? That we have right now. It's a secret weapon out of the bullpen.
Right, and he's a secret long innings relief.
Yeah.
You know, he's an innings eater in the postseason, and that's really difficult to do. So, I mean, there is something to be said for thinking that your starts are essentially going to be, Bumgarner. I think they said PV game 2.
Yeah.
So
PV game
Bumgarner,
two.
So Bumgarner, PV,
game
Hudson,
3,
and then Vogie hands it
game
off to Petit, essentially, if it comes to it. Like,
But here's the reason why I say no, and I say no because we know Bumgarner is likely to get his innings in. Even if Bumgarner gives up runs, he doesn't have a short leash. He's gonna stand.
Yeah.
But what Petit coming off out of the bullpen gives you is that any one of the next three guys who has an issue gets pulled very quickly because we have Petit as an option. So he gives you almost more value as a guy coming out of the bullpen than he does as a starter because he only gets to go in that game that he starts. And here he gets to go in any game where it makes sense. And it's already worked, so you don't try to figure out a new thing where now Vogie is the long guy, or PV is the long guy, or Huddy's the long guy, because now you got to figure out if that's even going to work, if they do it. Maybe you just throw Joe off. So,
we just know that Petit can warm up fast and get going for a long time.
and pitch 5 innings. Yeah. Eric, what do you think, man?
Pretty much everything you guys said. I'm still kind of stunned that this is the pitching staff. Excuse me. That this is the pitching staff that might win a World Series. So,
Right.
I'm totally
Really? Everybody saw this one coming.
Yeah.
No, I mean Hudson and Peavy. You got to be kidding me.
But you have to. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Peavy's a good pitcher. I think Hudson's a good pitcher. They have good history. Vogelsong is the guy that surprised everybody, but he's proven himself in the playoffs in the past. I think the fact that Petit is your long man, who's like going to be somewhat of a star in this postseason run, is the biggest shock out of anything.
Okay,
Because
well let
he's
me
been so inconsistent for so long. Like amazing, terrible, amazing, terrible. Breaks a record, major league record. Like what? This guy,
Right.
I don't know.
Here's the thing. Okay, let me riff off your big question and ask another question. Is Tim Lincecum going to make it into the World Series?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Here's how Lincecum makes it in the World Series. The only way I see Lincecum pitching, he's going to be on the roster. We've already heard that that's the way it's going to happen. Right. The only way I see him actually making an appearance is Game 2. PV doesn't go very long. Petit pitches like 3 or 4 innings. Then one of the next 2 guys doesn't pitch very long. Then it's going to be Lincecum. That's really the only way I see it happening. I don't see the Giants clobbering them 8-0.
Long run.
No, I don't see him coming into any kind of high leverage situation unless their bullpen is exhausted, unless he is the last man standing.
No, he's the way to ensure that we can get enough innings out of the guys we need in the tight situations. That's all he really is there for at this point. And it's sad because, he's the 2-time Cy Young, 2 no-hitters, 2 rings guy. But that is his position.
Postseason superstar, 2 different reasons guy.
He has embraced it, actually, though. From everything I've heard, he's not down. He's cheering everybody on as much as he ever has. He's partying with everybody as much as he ever has. He's doing
right there in it, and he's staying prepared and everything else. But he could turn into the Mike Fontenot of this postseason.
If he comes in, I know everybody else who's a Giants fan is going to be rooting for this guy to find some magic again.
Just be
out of nowhere.
Destructive.
It would be amazing, right? If we had that happen at one point. Like, what if like Huddy cannot get out of the 4th, and then Lincecum has to come in because Petit had to come in game 2. If this situation happens, by the way, it's fucking awful for the Giants.
Yeah,
Like,
I was gonna say, that's not a good thing. That is not a good thing.
But what if he comes in and it's lights out for 4 innings and the Giants pull back and win that game? That could be like a huge turnaround if we get into that situation.
I was gonna say that gets its own at least 10-minute segment in the film, right? So
Miracle.
Yeah, like this guy lost his starting job halfway through the year after pitching no hitter this season. By the way, I mean it's still in there. It's just unbelievable that it's like he's so inconsistent. It's crazy.
But is it in there? I mean, do we really know? I'm totally cool if Timmy doesn't have to pitch in the World Series. And the Giants just have their bullpen do their thing.
No, look, if they don't need him, that's a good thing. So that's what we want.
We want him not to pitch another inning for the rest of the season.
You never want to get to the point where you go, I've got one bullet left.
I sent
Tim Lincecum. Oh, man.
I sent out a tweet that I said, I want Ishikawa to collect a ring without wearing jeans.
Yeah.
I will now say, I want Lincecum to wear jeans while he collects his next ring. That's what I want to see right now.
Nice.
I want to see Lincecum not pitch another inning and come out on opening day of 2015 and run out there, do a little jog and some jeans and fuck it, wear a Seattle Seahawks jersey. I don't give a shit. Just
oh my God, he's so gonna screw us. He's so gonna screw us in the next few years. Thanks, Willie.
If he goes to Seattle, that's the best thing for him, I think. Because his time is.
I don't even think I could be.
Yeah, and he'll be the closer in the 202016 World Series that ends the Giants
versus Mariners.
Thank you.
2016 Giants Mariners World Series. You know what? I would actually be really stoked for that series. I can't complain.
That would be pretty sweet. Yeah. All right.
Mariners are practically my second team at this point.
I have a big question.
You bastard.
If Morse hits a ton as the DH, does he start in left field when we get back to San Francisco? Eric, I start with you, sir.
I say yes. I love Travis. Yada 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 yada. If Morse is better offensive production, he should be out there. Because honestly, I said it last week. The defense is negligible, and we saw it with Travis early on in Game 5 of the NLCS. Balls are going to be misplayed. So yeah, if Morse is hitting the ball after 2 games, I say stick him out there when they get home in Game 3.
All right, Ben, what are you thinking, man?
I think it's going to depend on Travis. I think Travis is actually going to be a major deciding factor. I think you're going to look at it and go, Morse is hitting really well. Travis is also hitting really well. Travis has done, he's been one of the better hitters on our team.
Yeah, if they both hit well.
Postseason was weird.
If they both hit well, I think you stick with Ishikawa. But I think if Morse outshines Ishikawa, then yes, it happens.
Right, but I think that's that's a different situation. If Morse drastically outshines Ishikawa and he's showing he can do better against this Royals bullpen, Bochy likes to play his matchups, and he is going to play the hot hand to a certain extent. Yeah, I think Morse starts in left field, but I think that if they're both playing well, I think that you give Ishii the nod essentially for his defense and for the consistency and continuity, which is a Bochy thing to a certain extent until he feels the need to shake it up. And if we're doing well enough that they're both if they're both producing, we're probably doing pretty well. There's probably not a need to shake it up upon returning to SF.
I agree. Chad?
Yeah, I want to echo Ben's statement there. I mean, it does depend on Ishii. If he's doing just moderately inferior to Morse, then I think you stick with Ishikawa and you don't break up the continuity of the lineup that they've had for pretty much most of the playoffs.
Which has strangely been working.
But you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? That's the whole adage. But yeah, if Ishii takes an 0 in the first 2 games or a 1 for 8 or something like that, and Morse is 5 for 8 with a bomb or 2, I think you have to go with the hot hand. And Bochy has a history of doing that. He goes with the hot hand, and so I think there's no question he would start Morse in left field at least for Game 3.
Yeah, I think it's close enough defensively between the two. Ishii can actually cover a little more ground, but he has less experience, so he's going to take more bad routes. But Morse takes enough bad routes on his own, even no matter how much experience he has. Right. And the thing is, it's really going to come down to left field. We're looking at the at bats, not the defense, when we talk about who starts when Game 3 rolls around. I hope that it's a decision, honestly. I hope both of those guys go out there and just go crazy. And
that we actually have to worry
about one of those guys. Yeah, either one of those guys. There's also a decision to be made on if both of those guys go nuts, who starts Game 3 for the Royals and who's the better matchup against the starter. And that would be a great place to be too, because then Bochy can do what he does, which is I'm going to make the decision based on what's happening here, and then guess what? The other guy is a pinch hitter later on.
Yeah, well, and look at it. They are a handedness platoon. Bochy loves handedness platoons.
Oh yeah, especially out of left field. That's damn, dude.
In crucial situations, like he'll nod and call somebody the guy during the season, but when it comes down to crunch time, he looks at it and goes, "They got a really good lefty on the mound who's suffered against lefties. Well, hey, Ishikawa, you're getting the start."
All right, new big question, because it's not in here, but I really just want to know: do we see Strickland again?
Yeah, probably.
It's clear that Strickland has lost favor after what he did, and we all talked about how against the righties go. But even against righties, didn't get out there. I mean,
I think we see him again.
I do think so, too. I mean, we can't go through another series without this kid.
Well, and I mean, you can't just like relegate him to, because we're already doing that to Tim Lincecum for one thing.
Yeah, that'd be two pitchers,
Right.
I just don't see it
this bullpen is good enough to run with two down, but it's not really good enough to guarantee running with two down. Like you can't not use Strickland. You have to be careful in how you use him. You don't want to wreck the kid, just like we talked about last time. But I'm sure we see him at some point in this series if it goes more than 4.
But I think he doesn't get the leash he got before, which is...
Yeah, I don't think he gets the leverage situation he got before.
Yeah, we're going to let you go like an inning. Like, I think he's essentially, at this point, like a right-handed specialist.
Well, to be fair, not every game is going to be as high leverage as every game the Giants have played. There's bound to be an 8-3 Giants victory.
Is there,
8-9, there is. There's just bound to be
there
one of
really?
those
There wasn't the
games.
NLCS. There wasn't the NLCS.
We played 10 games so far. We haven't had a single one yet, except for the Pirates game.
8-0,
Just
exactly.
Yeah,
So there's bound to be that game again, and I totally see Strickland and Machi getting their feet wet in the game, like Game 3. I can see them busting it open or something like that, or even Game 2 when the Giants are behind. I can see something like that, but we haven't even seen those games yet. So those guys have got to get work somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, last big question, because I got one more for everybody, because I just have so many big questions.
He's coming up with all these.
All right.
What is the lucky drink for everybody this postseason? What are you guys drinking?
Orange
Gatorade.
Gatorade.
Eric, what are you drinking?
Orange Gatorade.
Orange Gatorade? That's it?
Yeah.
Like the orange.
Come on,
Orange
man.
Gatorade.
Drinking more than that.
Yeah, I know. I drink that during every. I go to the store and specifically buy.
How many do you pick up?
I buy 2 orange Gatorades. I buy 2 mango Arizona teas. I buy 2 Diet
That's a lot of
Cokes.
calories.
So
man.
like
And you
every
got-
well,
orange
this isn't
drink
all
plus
for
Diet
me,
Coke
but
that you can think of.
Yeah, this is for the whole household. But this is what I do before every game: 2 orange Gatorades, 2 mango iced teas, 2 Diet Cokes, and 2 bananas.
Is there a Giants bar out there in Florida where you're at?
No, nobody here cares about the Giants. Everybody's rooting
There's
for
not
Brazil.
like some random bar that was like really looking forward to the Giants moving out there to Tampa Bay.
I'm sure they were, but they probably hate the Giants now because they never moved here. So.
All right, Chad. Actually, no, Ben. Let's go to you next. What's your drink so far? Like when like things are going bad? Is there something where you're like, all right, bartender, triple shot of whiskey, neat.
No, because the problem is it's been a lot of triple shot of the water fountain at work.
All right.
So I mean,
go
I
out
guess
to the
that's
break
an option.
room and grab like a soda on the way, like a
No, because
Pepsi, Pepsi Zero or whatever the fuck kind of soda there is in the world.
No, there's not the vending machine's not on the way anymore. We moved, so
that's a good point. It's been a long time since I've been there.
I do not have a drink of choice in general.
So water fountain by the bathrooms, smelling the weird pee smells, and weird customers walking by you. But then you just go Giants to each other,
too,
right?
Thankfully.
All right.
It's I guess if there is one, which I haven't really had, but I do have like half a 6-pack left of Pyramid's apricot ale sitting in my fridge.
That's an orange. That's kind of an orange.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I don't have any other.
All right, Chad. I think I know what your answer is, but I want to hear it out of the king's mouth.
Yeah,
here.
I'm having a serious problem during this playoff run, man.
Like I might lose my family over this.
I It's not good.
Or liver.
I'm telling you, yeah, and it's not even about the whole like lucky drink. It's just
just drinking.
It's a coping mechanism. Man.
Is it whiskey? It's gotta be whiskey, right?
Yeah, so it's usually Jameson and an IPA. The problem is that I'm nailing these bottles in 1 or 2 games, and you know, my wife's getting a little worried about me. I go back to the store to get more, and the recycling bin is filling up, quite honestly. And she's like, "Man, I really don't want the Giants to make the playoffs if this is the way you're going to treat your body."
No, Trish, you have to want the Giants to just blow people out so that Chad doesn't need to drink so much to deal with it.
I mentioned this. I know. I mentioned this to Willie at golf on Saturday.
You just need them to have offense.
The thing is that I do much better watching the game either live in the stadium with 40,000 people, or at least with a couple of friends at a bar, at a house, or something like that. When you're by yourself and your kids and your wife and no one else is really watching the game with you, maybe mild interest or whatever, it's really hard. There's nowhere to blow off steam. There's no one to talk to. There's no one to curse at. So I think that Jameson becomes my buddy, you know? So that's what's happening. So
you're like, it's just me and you, bottle of Jameson. Just me and you. Do you think he's going to hit one out or what?
You know what I'm saying, Jameson. You get it.
I was trying to milk it.
This is what they should do. Don't you know, Jameson?
Yeah. Why did they let Strickland pitch to a lefty, Jameson? Tell me why.
I have this tiny little Giants World Series champion shot glass. It's literally like 1 ounce, maybe 1 1/4, and I kept filling it up.
So you got to fill that thing
just
over
trying
and
to milk
again.
it. Yeah, just kind of sipping it and holding it with a beer and everything like that. Which, by the way, it looks like I have clearance from the missus to head up to the city on Saturday.
Yes. All right. Oh, just Saturday, not Friday night?
It doesn't look like I can do Friday.
Son of a bitch.
Certainly
all
Saturday.
Right. I was really looking forward to the Friday night hangout with Chad King and watching the game.
Yeah, there's still Saturday.
Do you guys drink during every game?
Oh, yeah. Fuck yes.
Absolutely.
Oh my God! See, I can't do that.
I haven't missed a single game in terms of. I mean, there's been some games I had like maybe only 4 or 5 drinks, but like
no, I've been shit faced at the end of every single one.
Yeah, me too. Pretty much.
Actually, less shit faced than the losing efforts, the winning efforts.
That's crazy. See, I can't do that. Like, I'm so afraid that I won't remember the magic moment.
No. You temper it.
Be fucked up.
No, you temper it. I mean, I don't get so drunk that I don't remember.
No, I remember the whole game.
Well,
yeah, but I maybe afterwards I don't remember.
Blackout.
I might not remember the moment when I get home and turn on, CSN Sports and just like watch that shit all night. I might forget the end of that, but no, I remember every moment. All right, my drink, and I got to give a lot of props to a guy named Dan that I met at the bar at Nicky's. We brought back the Romo bomb this season.
Oh yeah.
So in 2012, you guys remember that Romo was fucking with Amy G with the like, oh, I'm right behind you and I'm falling or I'm whatever. So Romo was doing the Romo bomb that year, and that season we decided in that 2012 playoff run that we were going to invent a drink called the Romo bomb, which is essentially an Irish car bomb. So Guinness, half a glass of Guinness. Then you take like a shot of whiskey and then you pour a little bit of Bailey's Irish cream in it, right? And then you drop it and you chug it. So we decided it's got to be.
It seemed like the least Romo thing ever somehow, but still it worked.
But so the Romo bomb is you take the Guinness, you take the whiskey, but instead of putting the Irish cream in it, you put an orange liqueur into it. So it's orange and black because Guinness is black. So you got an orange tasting shot. You chunk it into that half glass of Guinness and you chug that down. So we brought back the Romo bomb, and I purchased these. The bartender thought I was insane. Whatever, fuck him. He doesn't understand. So we ordered a bunch of these, and I ordered them for the guy next to me. Oh, no, the right bar. This guy's a big Giants fan, but he's a bartender, so he likes good drinks, right?
Right. This is not one of those.
Yeah, and he's like, this is terrible. Actually, it's not so bad, though. It tastes like one of those chocolate oranges that you, like, smash on the ground, and it, like, breaks up into all little slices. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. And it's not bad.
Foil wrapped chocolate.
Yeah, you gotta unwrap the foil and then it's all broken up. It kind of tastes like one of those. And it's not bad. I'm not gonna say it's good, but if it's winning ball games, I'm sticking to it, man. I'm not gonna change things up. So I ordered these for everybody around me, and one of the guys was this guy Dan, and apparently this guy does Giants vines, like he does vines about the Giants. And
is this Dan Jackson?
Yeah, Dan Jackson, 415. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was sitting right next to me at Nicky's the whole time.
Oh yeah, they love him. They've gotten him on camera. Giants have retweeted.
He's an awesome dude, man. He's a totally awesome, great guy to watch a ball game
people.
with.
Yeah, I really like Dan.
So then the next night after Game 4, I went back for Game 5, and I was like, because after Game 4, I was like, dude, I'm going to see you tomorrow right here, right? So I get back to the bar, and guess who's sitting in the exact same seat in the exact same outfit? Dan Jackson. So I'm like, this is my man. This is my man right here. So I sit down, and we both actually sat down, and the first thing we said to each other was like, all right, so what's the plan? We're going to win this game? He's like, yeah. He's like, I actually have my receipt from yesterday so that I can order all the same things in all the same order. And he ordered, we were both started with like 2 Guinness, and then we both switched to like different beers after like the first couple. We both switched to shots at the same time. And then he was like, all right, this is the Romo Bomb inning. He's like, since you got him for me last time, I'm going to now get him for you, and to return the favor. So we had Romo Bombs, and that was in, I think, the 7th inning, and then it was the next inning where Morse hit the home run. So, that's my drink right now, and I'm just going to go with the same order and the same amount, and then hopefully it'll be champagne at the end.
Nice.
And there you go. All right, armchair manager time. Chad, you put one down for us. What do you got?
Yeah, so they were interviewing Mike Matheny before Game 5, and they were asking about Michael Wacha, kind of similar to Tim Lincecum. Where are you going to
when are we going to see this guy? Yeah.
And he didn't give any specifics, and he said, Wacha, he was our MVP last NLCS. We're going to find a spot for him, and I have a feeling it's going to be this game. And I was kind of like, that's interesting. And in the back of my mind, I was damn hoping he would find a way into this game, because one thing about pitchers that haven't come out in a while, especially after an injury and into a pressure-packed situation, is that you don't know how they're going to perform. You really don't. They're not going to be as reliable necessarily as they are when they're in mid-season form. But I kind of expected him in the middle of the game. Obviously, Wainwright was great up until
he was dealing.
And so, Nishek gives up the home run, and we go to the 9th inning, and Rosenthal was actually warming up in the pen because they expected to still have the lead in the 9th, and Rosenthal would have come in. And instead, you see Michael Wacha coming in to the game. And again, just another curious decision by an opponent's manager. We had the same thing with Matt Williams. And there is the old adage that you don't bring in your closer in a tie game when you're on the road. They have the little footnote there they should put, except when you're about to be fucking eliminated in the playoffs. I don't understand why he basically put his whole season on the line on a guy that hasn't thrown one pitch this entire postseason, coming off a shoulder injury, and basically he gives up one run, their season's over. And that was just a really curious. And to be honest, I thought that opened the door right there. I was like, oh, they're going to do something this inning, because it's another manager mistake. You just sensed it. I don't know. If Rosenthal had come in and they beat Rosenthal, hey, they beat their closer. Great, traditional baseball. But because I thought that was his mistake, I just had a feeling that they were going to do something special, and sure enough, he couldn't find the strike zone, and when he could, it was just straight fastball. So that was Matheny afterwards said, yeah, I put him into a tough situation. Maybe I shouldn't have. It was almost he was admitting that maybe it was a mistake. So Cardinal fans are on him too. But I just wondered if you guys
are all over him.
Yeah, he screwed the pooch, man. He totally
absolutely did.
Screwed up.
He should have had a super short leash on him. I don't mind him putting him in there.
That's the other
thing. If I'm a Cardinals fan, right, I don't mind him putting it in there, but you got to have another dude ready to go, and you got to go right to him as soon as it doesn't look good.
Especially after the
right to him.
4-pitch walk to Belt, I think.
4-pitch walk, that's it, dude.
That's
You're done.
He's done. Yeah, single to Panda.
This is elimination game, man.
Yeah.
I never would have put him in the first place. Yeah, I wouldn't have either. In the first place.
No, I would have put in Rosenthal.
It's exactly like you said. It's like putting Tim Lincecum in that situation. It's ridiculous. And then to have him leave 1 or 2 up in the zone, and then to get mad at him, also ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to be able to. There's a couple things as a manager you have to be able to do, and I think Bruce Bochy does this really well. And that's one is like trust your catcher to kind of tell you and give you an indication of what's going on. And maybe this is something where he doesn't have this relationship with Cruz that he does have with Molina, where Molina can go like, yo, this ain't working out, dude. We got to get this guy out. Maybe Cruz doesn't quite give the same Like he doesn't have the same cachet with Matheny where you can go like, no, this ain't working. We got to get him out. Maybe Cruz is a little more intimidated.
Willie,
want to come out like that, but
can I back up your point here real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Buster did that when the bases got loaded in the top of the ninth and Casilla was out on the mound. Buster looked into Bochy and said, he doesn't have it. Buster dictated that pitching change.
Yeah, and that's what you need from your catcher because it's really important because you, from a manager's perspective, can't see the break on the pitches, can't see the location the same way your catcher can.
The guy who catches them all the time knows when something is off. And I mean, we could see it after the first couple, but you could tell, like everybody was saying on Twitter, partly as a joke, but also because it was true. They're like, I think Buster just made a pitching change.
He did.
Yeah, but that's what happened.
And you have to have a catcher that you can reliably go to find out what's really going on because you as a manager can only see it from the side.
I'll say this too, though. The other thing that really got Matheny was that he was, he didn't really figure out the way that Bochy and other more tenured managers have. You can't play by the rules once you hit the postseason. You can't say this is my seventh inning guy, this is my eighth inning guy, this is my ninth inning guy. Exactly what he said. We're going to get Watkins to work
bites you in the ass in the postseason. Yeah,
right.
Why else do you think that Bochy put an Affeldt after the bases were loaded against?
And Affeldt actually said later he was like, I had one hitter in me at the.
That was his fourth day in a row.
Yeah, and he's like, but you know what? He calls on me. I got one hitter. That was the call down too. Was like, how's he? How's he feel? Like, is he gonna? He's like, I got one hitter. All right, well, we just need him for one.
Right. Well, the thing is, Matheny said beforehand, we're gonna get Waka a few batters. Well, you can't
that ain't
say
the time,
when
dude.
you're a game from elimination. You're not going to get Waka some work. Like,
he's going to get a little work. He's going to face a few batters, work on his
tuning them up for the World Series when you're down 3-1 in the ninth inning and there's freaking a tie ball game going on. Seriously.
It's fall training.
The role rigidness with him isn't gone yet, and that's something that, in fairness, even though Bochy had tenure with the Padres before he came over to us, I think it took him a couple of years to really figure out how to break some of that. And even in 2010, you started to see it, and by 2012, you were seeing it, and now you're just like, all right, Bochy's just going to do kind of whatever works. So we're just going to stop asking questions until we really feel like it went wrong. And it hasn't.
Yeah, all hands on deck, no defined roles in playoff situation.
It's entire game by committee, which is fine.
It's been working so far. So,
exactly.
All right, so now I think it's time to start looking forward. 5
innings, Repetit closes. Fine.
It's time to start looking forward to the World Series. So let's talk about this Royals team because this Royals team is, you got to admit, this Royals team is a little scary.
Intimidating. Absolutely.
I wouldn't even call them like intimidating, but just like what they do doesn't really intimidate you, but what it does is it puts pressure on you, similar to what the Giants have been doing, which is getting runners on, getting runners over, always having to worry about that they could score at any moment, they could get the big hit at any moment. We're going to have to put up with this. We're going to have to deal with this. This is something that would their speed doesn't slump. We know that. Sure, maybe they don't hit as many home runs as they've been hitting, but their speed is not going to go away. The speed is going to be there regardless. And their pitching has been pretty decent too. In fact, better than decent. So, Chad, you got some stats here. Let's go through some of this stuff here, and let's talk about what we might be expecting from this Royals club.
Yes, like you said, speed is going to be the main difference, I think, between the two teams. And in the playoffs so far, KC has 13 swipes, and the Giants only have 3.
Giants have 3, and nobody else. I think one other team had 4, maybe, right?
Yeah, and they both have 3 caught stealing. So KC's 13 for 16.
The Royals only had 1 steal against Baltimore.
That is true. In those 4 games, they only did have 1 steal.
They did things a little different in that series. You're right.
They did. And
they
won some close ball
games
games
wild earlier. Yeah, they went wild in the DS. They went wild in the. It was actually what was it? 7 of them against the A's.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I mean, other than that, I'd say their stats are fairly similar across the board. TMRA for the Giants to KC 2.18 to 2.93. Starter ERA 2.4 to 3.8.
Okay, hold on, Chad. Real quick before you just rattle these off, the Giants are winning in how many of these categories?
Yeah, I mean, bullpen ERA is almost identical, 1.78 to 1.8. But they got the edge on team ERA, starter ERA, And that's about it.
But those are pretty big numbers.
Well, that's how they're winning.
Yeah.
That's their pitching. I mean,
but that's the thing. So
they're
the
not
Giants, I think,
crushing
are going to
people
have
with
the
their
pitching.
hitting. Yeah.
Giants are going to have the pitching edge. I think like almost 100% you can say the Giants are going to have the pitching edge. The fact is that where the Giants are really going to be concerned going into this is how are we going to deal with the guy when he gets on first base?
Yeah. I think it's going to be two things. It's going to be the stolen base, kind of how they're going to disrupt with their movement on the bases. And I know the analysts keep talking about the 7th and 8th inning for Kansas City, but the stats really bear it out. They really haven't given up bupkis in the 7th inning or later. KC has a 0.84 ERA in that time frame. The Giants have a 2.31, which is irrelevant. It's just the fact that KC has not allowed any of that late game magic to happen. But again, you're dealing with the Giants, who just don't give a shit about statistics, and they just throw everything out the window. And they say, well, we could score 3 in the 7th. Yeah, I mean, it's just too many intangibles. It's really hard to break this down. It really is. I mean, I personally think the Giants have an edge just because of their experience and the way their manager manages the game. I mean, look at what Ned Yost did in the wild card game, how he managed that. I think he was fortunate to win that game after those managerial.
No, I think the players pulled their weight there. It wasn't that the manager found a way to win that game.
He kept giving outs away, and they kept overcoming it.
They did, despite
Yeah, he bunted like decisions. 4 times or something in that game, 5 times,
something like that. Yeah.
And like that's fine and everything, but that's going to equal maybe 1 or 2 runs in the game against the Giants. It's not going to do what it did against the A's in that game. It's not going to turn into rallies. The Giants are going to take those outs, and we're going to say that's fine. You might get 1.
Thanks for the out
every few times.
Yeah,
but you're not going to get 1 every time you make this move.
Well, I think Game 1 is going to be crucial, just like in the other series.
Oh my God, yes. Game 1. There's a couple reasons why.
We got Madison going, of course. That's number 1. Number 2, you're on the road. It doesn't seem to have any bearing on the Giants and how they perform.
No, they don't give a crap.
They've done so well on the road. They've won 15 out of their last 17 games overall, 10 out of 13 on the road. They're fine on the road. But big game James Shield, he's been lit up this postseason. He's given up 10 runs in 16 innings. And
we'll get to him.
Yeah, I just think that the Giants need to pounce on him at least by the second time through, talking about 3rd, 4th inning.
They're going to blow him out.
And if they can knock him out early, good luck.
I think the Giants are going to win this 6-1 or something like that. I really
That's
do.
What Game 1 feels like to me. I totally agree with you guys. It just feels like one of those blowouts of the Rangers or the Tigers or something. But the Tigers pitching scared me a hell of a lot more than the Royal starters.
No, the Royal starters don't scare me at all. It's the defense and the speed. It's not like they're pitching whatever. That's it. But we have to actually get base hits, like clean, solid base hits, because we're not going to get some of these gifts that we've gotten so far. We're just not. Like, we're not going to get those.
It's funny because I heard that we're not going to get some of these gifts because some of the moments that we've had have been very gifable.
Very gifable. No, we're not going to get the walk off bunt because the guy threw the ball away. That's not going to happen. But we are going to be able to still do a couple of clean singles and then, a double into the gap. Like, we're going to be able to do that plenty well against this pitching staff. That's going to be just fine. They're going to leave some stuff up. They've been pitching to American League hitters all season long. Mm-hmm. And the Giants they're a grindy ass lineup, and they're going to grind them, and they're going to get the base hits. So it's really just, it comes down to like, we got to keep these guys off the base paths, That's the thing I'm concerned about.
You can't walk guys
off the base paths.
You can't walk the Royals. That's what it's going to be.
No, don't walk them.
Yeah, if they get hits, hey.
It's going to hit fine. You got to hit. Cool, whatever. But don't walk them. Don't give up like errors that got them on, whatever. Like, that's the kind of stuff that's really going to
you got to make them earn their way onto the base pass, which they will do some of the time. They are too good not to do that. But you can't just start handing out free passes. And that's something that I think shouldn't be a danger with some of the guys that we've seen, because we've actually had decent control, but on and off, you'll let a couple guys on, and this is not the station-to-station Cardinals.
No, it is. Yeah, there's not a team that's waiting for the 3-run home run. Absolutely not, which is weird in the American League. That's generally what they do, and that's why we've actually done well in the World Series, is because we do well against a team like that. We are the team that shuts that down.
We do well when you don't have to worry about the runner as much, because we don't have guys that can hold runners that well. we kind of never have. They've all been so good at keeping guys off the bases that they're not always the strongest at watching out for guys on the bases. And Posey's been able to make up for a lot of that because he's Buster Posey. But, Tim Lincecum especially, that's always been the instant you start showing his weaknesses is just as soon as he has a runner on first base, there goes Tim Lincecum. Crap.
All right, so Chad, I want you to lead everyone in discussion while I take a brief moment to deal with the whiskey I've been drinking tonight. For tomorrow, talk about where the Giants, where the Giants and the Royals match up, maybe as lineups, positions, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, wow. He's already practicing for tomorrow night. I definitely took a night off from drinking, so that's a good thing. It's just water for me tonight. I think one thing that's pretty amazing about the Giants is they've given up 12 home runs this postseason, and yet every single one of them has been a solo shot. So talking about minimizing damage, it's kind of like, well, yeah, you hit it out, but with no one on. The Royals have hit, I think, 8 home runs this year or this postseason, which that's fine, but it's definitely above the mean because they were last in home runs hit in the American League for the regular season, and they themselves have given up 8 home runs this postseason. So, again, I don't think their pitching is untouchable at all. Bullpen, maybe. Starters, not so much. But, yeah, what do you guys think is the biggest mismatch in terms of position by position? Because I think in right field, you got to give it to Pence. Center field, you got to go with Kane, Lorenzo Kane.
Absolutely.
Left field.
First base, I actually think you've got to go with Eric Hosmer because he has been an absolute beast this postseason. Much as you want to go with Brandon Belt, and Belt I think will deliver some moments this postseason, but Hosmer has just been consistent and just dangerous. So I think you got to give it to him there.
No, I agree with you there. Catcher, clear edge to Buster Posey. Starting staff, I think clear edge to the Giants. Bullpen, I think, is a wash. I really do, despite...
Bullpen? Yeah, I mean, their bullpen's very good, and ours is really experienced and tends to come up with very unexpected, shining moments. I feel like it's kind of a wash. Left field, I think, is a wash, too. Alex Gordon has a lower postseason batting average, but he's also Alex Gordon, and our left fielder is Travis Ishikawa, who has been hitting better this postseason, and in general is not better than Alex Gordon. So...
Yeah, Gordon's hitting 222 with 1 bomb this postseason,
right.
So...
and Travis Ishikawa is hitting 269 with 1 bomb. So I mean,
and a 3-run double.
And a 3-run double. But I think you're looking at left field.
He had 7 RBIs, by the way, in the CS.
Yeah.
Offensively,
how did he not get the? Oh, we didn't even talk about it.
Yeah, we should have talked about that.
Well, because they voted for it too early. They asked the guys for the vote before that game was over. Travis deserved that.
Why did they not do that? He should have gotten
it. Of a walk-off.
I don't know. Hank tweeted something about how they asked them for the votes early.
Yeah. You shouldn't ever do the votes before the friggin' series is over.
I love Mad Bum, and Bumgarner was phenomenal, but Travis was the MVP of that series.
Yeah, and I'm okay with Mad Bum winning it, he himself said it. He was like, anybody could have won this on our team. This was a full team effort.
I think that's his definition of the.
But I think in the end, you should have given it to Ishikawa. Should have, should have happened that way.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, but
shoulda, woulda, coulda.
I gotta say, as much as I hate saying it, shortstop, I gotta go with Escobar as far as being the better offensively and defensively. Yeah. It's hard enough to go with Crawford on almost anything, and not like Escobar's bad. Don't get me wrong, but Crawford is ridiculous when it comes to defense.
Well, Crawford is getting hot defensively at the right time too. I mean, the play he made when Solo tipped the ball in the dive.
Oh, that's it.
That was one of those plays that a lot of people. Yeah, these are professional ball players. But in that moment, to be as fluid as he was and to just adapt, he didn't even, it wasn't awkward how he had to suddenly change course. He just adapted as the thing.
Just nope, I got it.
Happened.
Flipped
he's
around.
Got the ball the whole time. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows exactly how fast everybody is. He's locked in right now defensively. And it's a beautiful thing to watch when he is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I mean, you have to give the edge to him there. And I think catcher is obvious.
Yeah, catcher's pretty,
And then over at third base.
Not like I don't like Sal Perez, but it's Buster Posey.
No, in fact, Perez and Pablo
I think we should have to talk about that one. I mean,
Perez and Pablo are buds.
They're buds. Cool. They stay together. They text each other all season long. All sorts of stuff. They train together, so it's going to be real.
Okay, here's the beauty of this. I think is that we've gone up against the Tigers, who everybody basically said this team position to position, starters to starter, matches up better than anybody else. They're definitely better in every position and every whatever, right? They get 2 checks in starting pitching. 2 checks.
Yeah, 2, not 1. 2.
When you look
Tim
at
McCarver.
this matchups,
That's unbelievable.
when you look at these matchups, you have to say that the Giants and the Royals match up very well. This is not going to be like one team
it's
is
much closer.
Yes. Yeah.
This isn't
And
like
I
the
know the Royals
mashing
are hot,
Rangers
great,
and the
and
mashing Tigers and the.
I understand that the Royals are 8-0. And this is why game 1 is so important, because if you win game 1, you not only you stop the win streak, but you just suddenly bring doubt back into that Royals team. Were we just playing out of our minds? Were we just taking advantage of teams that weren't playing as hot as we were?
Yeah.
Now we've lost a game.
They will win game 1.
Yeah, and so Giants win game 1. And I honestly think even if we lose game 1, I don't think that like we freak out as much as they would if they lost game 1. I think the Giants don't freak out at all at losing game 1. I think they go, hey, we're on the road.
The Giants are right. Sweet, we're right back in the corner. Let's do the thing again.
Yeah, let's do this whole
here's
thing.
the
This
thing. Nobody
comeback
thinks
thing
we can
again.
win. Yeah, that's exactly where we like to be.
It's been there, done that versus, whoa, what is
What?
this?
Brink of
Like,
elimination?
whoa, everyone's asking us
Do something
questions. Yeah.
Right? Like, who are all you media people? Whoa.
It's
Tommy Chong is a Royal.
Right. Oh, my favorite was still the person that.
watching
That'd be great.
Royals and the Giants go through this run because nobody thought either this is the 9 and 10 seed. This is to me this is beautiful, and we're actually okay. All right, we won't skip tweet at me, bro. But we got to get to the next stuff. We have so much stuff left. We got to move on.
I know.
So we got to get to tweet at me, bro. I don't want to skip it because I know some good stuff is in there. But there's a thing about the 9 and 10 seeds facing each other in this World Series that we must also talk about. But first, let's start at the tweet at me, bro section. Chad, you got to tweet at me, bro, for us.
All right. So with the Hunter Pence signs, I guess when they were working out today, some Kansas City fans held up a sign saying Hunter Pence thinks he's in Kansas, and apparently he thought we're not. Pence's explanation: I guess I'm really bad at geography. This is Missouri, correct? It's tricky.
It's tricky.
I didn't know if he was trolling or not, but according to these some of the journalists, he was actually totally sincere. He was like, "Oh, it's Missouri, not Kansas. Oh, okay, sure, yeah, I don't know."
Do you know how defensive Kansas City is about this?
No.
Have you ever been to Kansas City?
I've never.
I
been
think
there.
we're going to learn.
So I've been to Kansas City. I went there on tour in 2004, I believe it was, or 2003
You
or something like
poor
that.
bastard.
And I'd never been there in my life, right? I actually have some friends who are in a really good band out of Kansas City called Beautiful Bodies, and they're an amazing band. And this guy was my friend back then, and I remember telling him, we went to Kansas City, and we were on stage, and we said, it's so good to be in Kansas City. And then everyone went, it's Missouri, you fucks. And we were like, dude, we said Kansas City. We never said Kansas City, Kansas. We know we're in Missouri, but they are so fucking defensive about the fact that it's Missouri, not Kansas City, Kansas. Like, they cannot get over the fact that people think that Kansas City should be in Kansas. Like, that is such a huge deal to them. It's fucking funny to me. It's like it's comedy. So
the New York Giants play New Jersey. Get it straight.
Yeah. But anyway, that's always like stuck with me about Kansas City is that city is very defensive about the fact they're in Missouri. Don't forget that we're in Missouri. And I don't know why you would want everyone to friggin' know that you were in Missouri, but fine, whatever.
Well, it's a step up from being in Kansas.
Is it really though? Is it
Not
really?
so much. Is it a half step?
I mean,
I'm not sure about
you got
that.
Ferguson, and you got. There's
So
a lot
your
of
next-
reasons
your
not
next
to
city
be
over
happy
in
about
Kansas
Missouri.
In Kansas, your next city over is Topeka, and you're best known for Smallville. And in Missouri, your next city over is St. Louis.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
and you're best known
I will
for being
point out,
racist. So, all right,
Solid. Actually, I
Sounds
know.
good.
In fairness, I know a lot of Cardinals fans that were really disappointed about how Ferguson panned out. So good for them.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm not saying everyone's like that, but
More
Come on.
importantly, though, I also know a lot of St. Louis fans that are like, "Yeah, screw Kansas City. The hell with that. Nope, just beat them for the rest of Missouri." And I was like, "Can we beat them for us? But okay.
You know how I do it. When my team loses, I want the team that beat me to go all the way because then it was just destiny, right?
Always.
It's like,
because if the team that beats you wins the championship, you were beaten by the best.
That's right.
Yeah. So like, what was it? What were we supposed to do? We got beat. It was destiny.
It was like the Marlins
every
in
time.
03, right? You know?
Yeah. When the Marlins beat us, I was like, I'm a Marlins fan for the rest of this playoff series. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Every time.
Except for the Angels. When you get to the actual finals, then it sucks. But
it's not so good.
Well, that doesn't count
I
anymore.
mean, it sucks who you have to root for sometimes.
yeah. All right, Eric, you got a couple of tweets, right?
Well, it was funny. I found the night that the Giants clinched, Dave Tobner of West Coast Bias, he tweeted out a story that Gregor Blanco told that he said Panic was studying video of Bill Miller taking a Mariano Rivera cutter deep to prepare for Wainwright's cutter. And then Panic took what he saw, applied it to his at-bat, and took him deep.
Oh, that's so
I mean, that blows my mind to
deep
think that
cut right here, by the way.
that
with the Red
Panic
Sox.
really went to his Yankee fan days and said, you know what? I remember this coming when I was a Yankee fan. And it just blows my mind to think Panic's that good, man. He's that good.
That's pretty
should
sweet.
put
Like, he prepares all the way, not part of the way. He prepares all of the way.
He's going to be around for like 15 years.
No, he's our second baseman for the next very long time, and I freaking love it, man. This kid, he's baby Posey. I want to see.
He does look like
Panic
Posey's
into
little brother.
Posey.
Yeah.
I want to see Panic into Posey for a long time.
They are calling him Buster Posey clone number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Should point out on Twitter.
I want to see them both have a beard off, where they both attempt to grow beards, and neither of them can do it.
We have seen
And
Posey have stubble.
Posey
now.
tried that
Very
goatee
impressive.
earlier this year.
So you saw Posey's beard over the playoffs, and it's just been like a little bit of stubble around the neck, and it's like, this is Posey's playoff beard right here.
Been growing this for weeks.
That's it.
Yeah. All right, Eric, you got another one for us?
Sounds like mine.
No, that was
That
it.
wasn't.
Those were two combined. That was
That was two combined. All right, beautiful.
Yeah, that was
Well,
my two.
man, That is a deep cut.
It's a
Deep cut. Yeah.
GG Giants. Dave.
Ah,
Dave
yes,
Tobner.
Oh yeah, we follow that. We follow that gentleman. Very good.
Oh my God. He's very.
By the way, I wanna say I'm sorry to you guys. I don't know if you guys really like Every Sixth Day, but I unfollowed him. I took it upon myself to unfollow Every Sixth Day.
Well,
I'm sorry to that guy, but he's just too goddamn negative, and I can't take it anymore.
Is that Wade?
I don't know.
No, that's
No. It's like the Giants will give up a hit, and he'll be like, "Yep, that's it. I'll see you guys next year." And I just can't take it. I can't look at my timeline and see somebody be that negative.
Oh, I know who you're talking
I
about.
unfollowed him collectively for the Giant or for the TortureCast. So we do not follow him anymore. Sorry to him. If he listens, I don't think he even listens. I don't even care if he listens or not. We unfollowed you because you're too fucking negative, dude.
That's right, dude.
Wrap that shit up, man. Wrap that shit up. Get a little more positive, homie. All
I
right.
should point out he's a contributor for McCovey
3 and
Chronicles.
5, man. 3 and 5.
New favorite guy time. All right. Chad, start us off.
Mike Matheny. There's so many choices here, but I just wanted to take him just because I do respect the guy. I think he's a great manager, despite that mistake. But thank you very much, Mike. But at the very end of the game, he waited a good 4 minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes, standing in their dugout, waiting till he can make eye contact with
Even
Bruce
mentioned
Bochy.
this on the radio. They said there's a very strange scene going on. Matheny has not left the dugout.
Yeah, and he was pretty much standing there alone. I think there was one coach behind him. And when he finally got Bochy's attention, he got his eye contact, and he just took his cap off and mouthed something like "good job" or something like that.
Tip. All right, cool.
Yeah, tipped his cap to him and put his hat back on, and then he walked away. Like,
Well,
That's
tipped
the
his
last
back.
manager he ever played for. So you got to
That's
think
good.
the guy's got something.
No, they have a relationship, absolutely, and that's a beautiful moment in baseball when you can give that respect. That
well, it's classy because every time you see the visitor's dugout or the loser's dugout reaction, it's like everybody gathers up all their shit, or the manager gathers up all their shit and just bails. Yeah.
yeah.
Couple guys are like staring off into the distance, kind of going, "Oh, damn it!" But I thought that was a classy
Yeah.
move by Mr. Matheny.
I appreciate that Boch did it back too.
Yeah,
You know, it's a
Well,
little thing.
Bochy knows. I mean, it's time to celebrate as the winning team, but it's never time to disrespect the losing team. And it's also never time as a losing team to disrespect the winning team and say that, like, we shouldn't have lost. It's always time to give them their due and say, yep, You beat us.
See, and here I thought you were going to say Bruce Bochy knows he's the shit. Bruce Bochy knows he knows what he's doing. Bruce Bochy knows that those guys are going to give him props because he's going to win every time.
He never does. He's too humble, man. He knows that he's going to prepare every fucking day to go out and get his guys out on the field and play the best game they can. But he's never, ever, you'll never hear Bochy say a disparaging word about another team.
Nope.
Oh, no, there's no reason.
It's never happened. It's never happened and never will. All right, Eric, follow up with that. Do you got something? Because that's a good one.
My new favorite guy is the guy that gave Ishikawa's home run ball back. And I'm told, I don't know which one of you guys dropped this in there, but Frank Burke is his name.
Yeah.
So Frank Burke, you
nice.
are getting a shout out here on the TortureCast.
You are.
That is awesome for getting Travis's ball back to him. The guy's getting World Series tickets. So not only is he getting World Series tickets, he's taking his friend who has cancer to the game.
He got a signed bat from Ishikawa.
What a moment for that guy, though.
Never
By the
asked
way, he held on to the ball. He was not. It didn't bounce around. It
didn't.
hit the
Went
thing.
right into him.
He just held it, and then there's actually a video of him after he caught it, and I think you could immediately tell this guy was going to give the ball back because he was like, "This is a fucking Giants fan right here. Like, this is not a guy who's like fly by night. I just came, World Series or playoff tickets given me by my buddy. This guy was a Giants fan."
All right, wait. Willie, would you have given the ball back? Question stands to everybody.
Yes, I would.
So would I.
Here's why I would give the ball back. First of all, I want the World Series tickets. Number one, and that's the greedy part. That's the greedy part of this.
Here's the question in that case, because I think I think we'd all give it back. To be honest,
I want to give it back because first of all, I want the World Series tickets, but second of all, I want to be the guy who gave I want to be the guy who gave the ball back so that the guy who hit the ball gets to have the ball because that is
True.
But Ishikawa should have that ball.
Here's the thing about Burke though. He just wanted to hand the ball back. Okay, you guys can, he wait for a representative like.
Oh, you wanted to actually hand the ball back? Yeah.
He said, "Here, no. He didn't want anything. He didn't ask for World Series tickets.
Just gave him the tickets?
So, okay, here's what really went down.
Negotiate or do anything?
No, but here's what went
supposedly
down. His first public appearance was on KMBR the next morning with Gary Radnich, and I happened to be listening the entire interview. I didn't know he was going to be on. He was just on. And so Gary, in his self-effacing way, is just like, so you didn't want anything out of this? You probably could have gotten a few grand out of it. And, he's like, no, my wife said something about it at first. And then she was like, no, of course not. He's like, I'm not that kind of guy. I've been a lifelong Giants fan for 40-something years. So he gave the ball back. They invited him down. Travis took a picture, gave him a bat, the whole thing.
The Travis Ishikawa kissing the ball picture.
Yeah.
I love it.
How amazing that picture is.
Oh, it's so great. I mean, it's just amazing.
Brilliant.
And so Gary asked him, he's like, well, did you get anything else out of it? And he's like, well, no. And he's like, what? They didn't give you World Series tickets or anything? He's like, no. And he's like, to be honest, I actually kind of asked. Like he admitted, he asked the Giants PR guy, hey.
I would ask. Yeah.
Could I get some World Series tickets? And he even said the Giants PR guy's name on the air. Because he's like, what's his name? Who was it? And he said his name. He's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. He works for Giants Relations. And he told me, sorry, there's nothing that we can do, period.
Oh.
And so Gary just did not accept that answer. He's like, oh, come on.
No, screw this.
He's like, we're going to get the 680 flamethrower here. We're going to get you some tickets. And he's like, Kate, what can you do?
He didn't get tickets until Gary got him on the ticket?
Yeah. And then Kate was like, we're going to make this happen. And so they started putting.
For Gary just happened inside my little tiny heart right now.
I think, definitely Giants had a little bit of a PR
nudge.
Not nightmare, but just kind of like crap.
We really should give this guy.
We should give him some tickets. So they got him 4 tickets apparently.
Shouldn't have gotten there.
So what I would do is I would be like, when they come around, they ask for it. I would say, I'm gladly giving this back to you guys. I only ask that I get to come to some World Series games.
Yeah.
And
I'd want every game. I'd want all 3 games.
Yeah.
I'd say, give me tickets to all 3 games, or you're not getting this ball back. I'm not trying to be funny. I'd do it.
I wouldn't blame you for that at all, man.
No.
That's not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not money.
Shit, this ball sent you to the pennant.
shot heard round the world.
Exactly. You want this ball back? Give me some tickets.
I'll throw it in the bay. I swear to God, I'll turn around right now.
My dad can hang out with the baseball. I don't care.
On this right now. Yeah, you just got to get something. Yeah, good on him though. But that's a great pick, I think.
Yeah.
Frank Burke, good job, buddy. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to say Michael Morse. I mean, the joy that he exuded while he was running around those bases, I felt the joy. I mean, it was electric, that moment. And it's been a long time since I've watched a play around the bases and be that happy and me feel it along with them. I'm such a huge Michael Morse fan for the rest of my life now. It like Cody Ross hit the home runs, was stoked. Cody, fine. And then essentially like kind of disappeared from the Giants, but said a lot of great things. You had Renteria hit the home run that essentially won us the World Series. He was like, I've won World Series before with hits, whatever. I'm around the bases, I'm fine. But Michael Morse's like unabashed, like youthful exuberance in that moment is something that's going to make me a fan of his no matter what happens to him from here on out. That was just a special moment, and I will never, ever forget it. I went absolutely freaking nuts. But I did this. I went nuts, and as soon as I saw the smile on his face as they showed him go around the bases, I was like, I got to stop celebrating because I have to watch him be happy. And I have to smile from ear to ear as I watch him be happy. And then his interviews after the game, where he was just like, I just want to thank the Giants for letting me be a part of this. I'm so happy to be here. This is the best organization I've ever been a part of. Like, he's a 1-year contract guy, Yeah. For him to be so stoked about how he has been able to be a part of this season, no matter what happens in the World Series, like, he will always have that moment. And he will always have, I'm sure that night, like, he just could never let it go. Like, it was like he did acid and had the best trip you ever had in your life. Like, he just had it going, He did it, man. The shot of him in the dugout where he put his hands on his head.
Yeah, that was great.
His eyes bugged out and was just like, oh my God, I just did the thing that everybody dreams of doing.
Yeah.
And I just did it. And yeah,
How did this happen?
Yeah, like, I can't believe that actually happened to me. And the stadium was going nuts, and that's the moment he'll never forget. It's the moment I'll never forget, and we won't forget it on different levels. But that's what's great about baseball is that moments like that happen, and he's the guy who does it. Like a guy in football will catch like a touchdown pass, and then and I'm sorry to like shit on like our SF Niners. But I'm going to kiss my own biceps. I'm going to point at my jersey.
Yeah.
Do all this stuff. Like, I'm so fucking awesome. Like, it was like he was like, I'm so lucky to have had this happen to me. Not that I just did it, but that I'm so lucky that this happened to me. That was the feeling I got from him. And that's the kind of shit that I love so much about the game of baseball.
I know.
Guys get to experience those moments, and we get to experience them along with them. So, Michael Morse, that's my guy. He'll probably be my guy no matter what happens from here on out because that was special.
Good pick.
All right,
I don't know, man. You don't know who's going to come through in the World Series.
I don't even care his fucking career. That was the best thing that ever happened.
I'm just saying. I mean,
Finish us off strong, Ben.
You know what? I had a different pick, and I thought about it, and I can't not pick Travis Ishikawa because
somebody did. Please, thank God.
Because here's the thing about Ishii for me is I remember this, and this has zero to do with the fact that he ended up being an NLCS hero for us right now. I remember when I really first got back into watching the Giants in 07, 08, and I remember looking through the roster and going, there's a name here that's Japanese. That's kind of cool. I still remember Tsuyoshi Shinjo for all the good that did us. And like that whole moment of having an Asian player and, being Asian American, or at least half, which was good enough for
I thought
me.
you were Jewish.
Yes.
Sorry.
Hey, wait a
Still
second.
correct. Still
Sorry
correct.
to derail you.
Nice.
All of the corrects.
Yes,
I get
yes.
red envelopes and then I light a menorah. It's a great
It's
life.
Travis Ishikawa Berg. Yes.
Travis Ishigold-Kawa. So, thing is, though, Ishikawa, he's mixed. He's, got an Asian last name. He was on this roster, and I remember looking and I went, wait, his first name's Travis? Wait, where's this guy from? Wait, I want to know more about this. And I remember just being really stoked that there was somebody that I could kind of, relate to and go, hey, I am something like you. We are also similar ages.
And you get to play in the major leagues, so that could happen dude, that's amazing.
And I mean,
love
Ishikawa
that.
was one of those guys that every time he'd move, when he did get called up, I was so stoked because he's in the minors at the time. I found him on the 40-man. And I went, wait, you're on the 40-man roster. You're in danger of being called up at any given time. At the time, it was kind of a danger at times.
Anyone who listens to TortureCast knows Ben scours the minor league roster. And,
At times.
Nothing else to do.
Right. When I just had...
it's beautiful, man. Do it.
But
the
thing is, about Ishikawa is that always stuck with me. It's just having that player that I was I remember getting super interested in that had, had a fringe shot at making the majors, but maybe at the time. And then as it turned out, made the majors and didn't do a whole lot for extensive periods of time, but was part of the World Series group. And I just remember being really stoked for that because it was somebody that I had found out about beforehand. And it was the secret special thing that I got to be super excited about for my own really specific personal reasons. And then that. And so when he hit that, my mom and I were in the kitchen listening on the radio. I had just gotten home from work. I was exhausted, and I was just hoping that the Giants found a way to pull this out, feeling like they most likely would. And that in that moment, I said, you know what? I think this is going to be it. It's going to be, well, actually, I thought it was Belt. I thought Belt was going to be it. I was wrong. It was just as well, because when Ishikawa hit that and John Miller freaked out, I leapt to my feet. And the only other time you've ever seen my mom and I leap to our feet like that was during an earthquake. So, which this was really kind of the same thing, just over the radio. We leapt to our feet and we're looking at the radio, and then all of a sudden John just yells, "Gone!" And my mom and I are freaking out, and I'm jumping around, and I run into the other room to turn on the TV and hope that the internet delay on my buffer was going to let me actually see the home run. I didn't, but I got to see all the celebrating afterwards, and I'm just standing there.
You've watched it 30 or 40 times like I have, right? I've watched that home run at least 40 times at this point.
I've only had time to watch it 5 to 10.
Dude.
But
just get your phone out. Anytime you're chilling, you're I should play a little Words with Friends or something. No. Yeah.
Travis Ishikawa.
Yep. Oh, my God. I lose it every time.
Never old. But
Chad, we were playing golf and you came over here's a cigar. And I was like, cool, man, thanks for the cigar. I'm not gonna smoke it right now, but do you want to watch Travis Ishikawa's home run on my phone?
I look over and I just hear the call.
Yeah, you just hear it. I'm just sitting there. I'm just watching it.
Sitting in the golf cart.
I've been doing that
Watching
ever
it over
since,
and over
man.
again.
Travis!
That
It's so
home run
good.
in and of itself just meant so much more to me because of that. And so it's after thinking about it and hearing you guys talk, it's impossible for me not to pick Ishikawa as my new favorite player, because he's my old favorite guy. And
He was my new favorite guy last week.
By the way, shout out to Eric Nathanson for picking him as new favorite guy exactly 1 week ago. And then guess what happened? Yeah.
He does it.
I love it.
Quick,
you win the That Panned Out Well award.
I'm gonna point something out real quick about Travis Ishikawa right now. It's a fucking great pick by you, Ben. But if you go to his Baseball Reference page right now, and I've gone to it several times in the past few days, still in a Pirates hat on his page. He started the season as the Pirates starting first baseman. Crazy. But he actually was in 2009. He was the Giants' first baseman. He played 120 games there. And he hit 9 home runs. And in 2010, he played 116 games for us in 2010. So even though Brandon Belt was the first baseman we were all talking about, we're excited about this guy coming up. And even though it was Aubrey Huff, whatever, in 2010, Ishikawa played 116 games.
Ishikawa was the defensive replacement for Aubrey Huff, essentially.
And he came into a shit ton of games. And
he did.
So, even though it was it was Huff who was our first baseman, Ishikawa was constantly at first base in that season. And he's a guy who goes deep in the Giants organization. He's been around in the minor leagues for over a decade now for us. So fucking amazing to have him have that moment for us after bouncing around a shit ton after he left us.
Drafted in 2002 out of high school, and he spent so much of his career with the Giants, and finally it pays off. I
mean, he went to Milwaukee, he went to Baltimore, he went to the Yankees, he went to Pittsburgh, he went everywhere.
White Sox at one point.
Yeah, he went everywhere, and then guess where he landed back and did the best thing he's ever done in his life? The Giants. The Giants.
50 years from now, we will be uttering the name Travis Ishikawa.
Absolutely.
He will. He is now like Scudero. Who cares what happened since then, right?
Oh, I'll remember Ishikawa over Scudero.
You think so?
I do.
I don't know.
So much though.
100%.
Scudero in the rain is a pretty indelible imagery.
I feel like they're the same. They're in the same boat. Like if I walk into a bar and I see Scudero, I buy him a drink. If I walk into a bar and I see Ishikawa, I buy him a drink. Like those guys all like they are now.
Walking to a bar and see Cody Ross.
Cody Ross. Fine, all of them.
I just think 20 years from now, you're going to remember Ishikawa's home run more than you remember Scudero soaking up the rain.
Really?
Yeah, I think we're all going to remember Ishikawa's home run.
Scudero soaking up the rain, and then Scudero also hitting a single that brought home the winning run of the World Series.
Well, you're gonna forget that.
I will not remember Ryan Theriot. I would buy Ryan Theriot a fucking beer right now. I don't give a shit. All these guys, we got World Series off of them.
It's funny. I watched that the other day, but you'll forget some of that because the Giants are a dynasty and they're gonna win more than just this year.
So you think I'm gonna be like Theriot? Who? Wait, was it Fontenot or Theriot who scored the winning run?
Well, I got to tell you. Well,
I
know.
I was looking at
the joke, Chad. The joke. I'm saying like that's like in 20 years, am I going to be like, you guys remember when Fontenot scored the winning run?
Theriot.
And then Spaz will be like, Theriot. Yeah.
Well, look back on the 2010 roster. How much do you think to yourself, oh my God, how the hell did this team win a World Series? That's what we're dealing with now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But this is the big moment. This is a fucking huge moment. And I've been great fucking pick. All right. Let's hate on people. Let's go. We're going to save Chad for last. I'm going to go first. Chad, you go last because yours is the most important. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to say I don't hate anybody. I can't bring myself to it. I kind of can. A little bit of me wants to hate people, but in the end, I'm just too fucking happy. It's like everybody I should hate are now gone. They're all at home. They're all thinking about where they're going to play golf next. And the Giants are still taking BP in Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come.
I should point out, I don't have anybody good to hate on that.
I've tweeted that song, man. I have the YouTube. As soon as the Giants clinched, I put Kansas City, here I come out there.
Exactly.
Yep.
There's crazy little women there, and I'm gonna get me one. All right. Nice. So there you go. That's me. All right, Eric, hate on somebody.
Well, I kind of hate Harold Reynolds because the Fox broadcast, they'd be fine without Harold Reynolds. I mean, the guy just doesn't
would
add
almost be
any
respectable
value.
without Reynolds.
I mean,
Almost.
if we just muted his microphone, I think they'd put on a good broadcast. And this is almost piggybacking what Chad said last week about the announcers. But Harold just doesn't know baseball. I can't say that he talks about this or that because, you know what, he talks about this or that, and it's the wrong this or that. So Harold Reynolds is who I hate on for this year. But we don't have to worry about him because the Giants will keep winning and he'll be out of a job.
Yeah, I actually think he's fine on MLB Network because he reads the teleprompter. But when he doesn't have a teleprompter, he just can't say anything original.
Well, when he's out there on
his
the
car
field,
must be great, man.
when he's given a demo on the field, he totally understands why a guy is moving his hands from here to here. But when he is put under the pressure of a baseball game, he thinks things that are like totally out of the game.
Yeah.
Like nobody's thinking about that during the game, and he's
I agree 100% on
this
that.
guy is hitting off this guy, and it's like this guy's not even going to face this guy. What are you talking about?
You know what he should never do is he should never call a game. He should always be the guy back in the studio that we go to at the end, and we go, "Why did this happen here?" But you know what he should never do is he should never talk about how when Michael Morse hit the home run, where he goes, "You know what I like about this? The way he matched them up." Like it's like really what?
Give me some
This
reason
moment,
why he
you're
matched.
no, but he said like the way the Bruce Bochy matched them up. It's like, oh my god, dude, this is ruining my moment. Like I'm watching. I thank God I didn't hear it when Morse hit the home run because if you watch the call later,
right,
as Morse is rounding first, he's already talking about some stupid ass analysis that doesn't mean shit. Like just call the fucking like what just happened.
Just stop talking and let the crowd know.
Don't start
didn't even
analyzing
hear that.
like all the shit that happened. This is an amazing moment. You should just be talking about how the fucking stadium is losing their shit and Morse is losing his shit. Everyone's losing their shit. That's what you talk about. Not, you know what I like about this? The way he matched them up.
Well, he's going to keep
Stupid.
doing it, though. They're going to stick with him in the World Series. It's like,
It's sad,
you know what,
dude.
Harold? I don't care what this guy's feeling inside his heart. I want to know what this guy's going to do against a right-handed pitcher third time through the order.
You know what's sad is that the magic that's happening on KNBR is like not coming through because of so many people seeing this game through the national broadcasters like magnifying glass.
I watch Fox. Do you guys watch Fox?
Yeah, I mean, what else are you watching?
Okay, so you guys hear the announcers too then. You hear Joe Buck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's our problem, is that there's
But no,
so
what I'm
much better
saying,
things
though, it's
happening
like-
on KNBR
so-
and no one's getting a chance to hear it.
In 2012, I did the thing where I was like matching my phone up with, and I was like taking my DVR and I was like rewinding until it actually matched up, and then I was listening to KNBR, and I was matching it up with the game. So I was listening to the radio spot while I was watching the game, and that was so enjoyable because you're listening to John Miller, Kuiper, Kruko, and Fleming all together talking about this run, and it's fucking beautiful, right? So there's a lot of people who are listening to that without getting to watch it, and there's a lot of people who are watching it without getting to listen to that magic that's happening. And you don't get both together unless you work really hard to make it happen.
I can't do it. I mean, Twitter is the reason I can't do it. I don't know about any of you other guys, but because so much real-time information is coming out, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I've said it on this show before, but I think what MLB is missing is they need to take one national guy, and I don't even care if it's Joe Buck. I don't give a shit. Take Joe Buck. I don't care.
He's not the worst thing that's happened on
he's a
these broadcasts
broadcaster.
anymore.
I don't mind Joe.
Harper and Reynolds are the worst things that have happened to these
He's a
broadcasts.
trained broadcaster, but what you should do is take one guy from each team, and then instead of putting Harold Reynolds and who the fuck knows who that other guy was, and put them up with Joe Buck. Like, fine, Joe Buck is your guy. That's fine. So Fox, you got this Joe Buck guy who apparently like sucked somebody off when he was fucking whatever, and now he gets it for the rest of his life. Or I know his dad is a
Jack Buck.
Hall of Fame broadcaster. I get it.
Sure.
it. But the best way to broadcast this series to the world is you have one national guy and then you have one local guy from each club, which I think for the Giants would be like John Miller, and then from the Royals, whoever they have,
Probably Denny from the radio, who's been around for ages, and has that really like old timey voice.
It doesn't matter who it is, but one guy from each team who is now like the other two guys, right? So while the game is going on, you have Joe Buck, who's like the kind of play-by-play guy, and then when it's time to like go to like analysis, you got a guy from each team who's actually followed the team throughout the entire series, like season. And then radio, you get Kuiper and Kruko and Fleming.
Question.
Sure.
If you have to pick one Giants announcer to put in the booth, who do you pick?
Kuiper.
I pick Kuiper too. I pick too. Yeah.
I actually
think Kuiper is he's the most deadpan,
smartest.
He represents the Giants really well. Kruko would come off as too much of a homer to everybody.
Yep.
So he's an amazing guy.
Kruko would sound like an asshole, and he's not supposed to sound like an asshole. He's just the kind of guy that explains it in the way that we get it.
Like Kruko is like the players' announcer, right? Like he announces it like from the players' perspective, like grab some pine neat and all the little Kruko-isms. Those are all like from the players' days. That's the shit he used to say. Kuiper is the guy who's like he's got it going. He's an announcer at this point, and he knows what's up. Fleming would be fine too, and Miller.
If you're using for color though, why don't you pick John Miller, king of random stories that are somehow relevant and interesting?
Kuip cares more. Kuip cares so much.
I don't think he cares more, but I do think that the perspective he would bring to a broadcast would be very different. It's just that Kuip has been a play-by-play man for so long; it's hard to imagine
Miller's
doing play-by-play and then Kuip doing color.
I think they need to just get rid of fucking Joe Buck, and Miller should be the national guy every single time.
He was for 20 years on ESPN.
Why can't we get Miller and Morgan back, man? For the that should
no more.
I'll take Miller, but Joe Morgan can take a flying leap, man.
Morgan kind of sucks, but they had good chemistry together.
They worked together.
Tim McCarver wasn't bad compared to the crap we got to deal with now. I mean, it's all relative.
Carver sucks too, but I would take Morgan over Miller. I know Morgan
I'll grant you I would take McCarver over Reynolds, but you're setting the bar below with that one.
Cross, he knows his shit. I know he's kind of a dumbass sometimes, but I really just want them to get away from this super white bro. That's I don't know. It's just annoying.
That's what it is. But the nice thing is we're having this discussion because the Giants are in their third World Series in 5 years.
Yeah, we wouldn't even be talking about this because
right.
Wouldn't be.
I didn't care who the announcers were last year. Did you? No. But 2 years ago we did because the Giants won it all, and now we care because the Giants have a chance to win it all. I didn't give a shit who was the announcers last year. I don't care. But now we can talk about it because hell yeah, the Giants are there.
Love it.
All right, so Ben, you basically said Harold Reynolds too, and so
I literally wrote in the show notes because I saw Eric wrote Harold Reynolds. I wrote, does that mean it's too late to say Harold Reynolds? Oh man,
I mean, he's horrible.
So who from the Royals?
I just can't.
Who from the Royals is he going to say is so cool and drives a cool car? That's what I want to know.
It's going to be Moustakas or Hosmer.
Moustakas? Yeah? Okay.
Moustakas or maybe Billy Butler, but Butler isn't going to do anything cool enough for that.
That's a good call, Hosmer. He's going to be like, man, Hosmer, he's got a cool beard, man. He just bangs a lot of cool chicks and stuff.
The Royals did an open bar for their fans at one point after one of the series clinches. I can't not like the Royals right now. To be honest, I'm actually stoked to watch the series.
No, you have to not like them. What the fuck are you talking?
Introduced to the podcast.
I'm sorry. I'm not the guy that automatically hates the team that we're playing. I want them to do poorly.
We know.
I appreciate them working.
I don't hate them either. They're
keep him around because he.
Right,
yeah.
That's really nobody knows why I'm actually here.
This is what we're really here for in this segment is Chad.
Oh, what?
This is why I really did the segment this week.
Oh, you guys are
all right.
Oh,
because of your guy, Chad.
So this has been getting a lot of publicity on the
it has been
the internets, and I don't know if this is clickbait or what, but the actual meat of the article from David Schoenfield.
He's a legit he writes a lot.
He does. That's the thing. He's not like a Exactly. But he came out with this article titled, "Welcome to the Worst World Series Ever." And you thought, oh, okay, he's just got a catchy headline. Let's go read it.
He does his own headlines? Because I know...
it doesn't matter what the headline is because he actually tries to back everything up.
He does.
And it's a really, really bad article. And
it's amazing if it said, "Welcome to the worst World Series ever," and then the first line was, "Just kidding, this shit's going to be awesome.
It's going to be the best ever."
Except he didn't do that. He tried to back up every claim that this World Series sucks.
And the reason he said is because this is one of the worst matchups in terms of total record. And I think he said it was the 4th worst by winning percentage of any World Series ever. And so I'm going to go into what I believe David Schoenfield's voice sounds like when he was writing this. So these aren't great teams. So this is arguably the worst World Series matchup ever. Giants fans can disagree, but if this was such a great team, why did the Giants put themselves in the dice roll of a wild card game?
Okay,
why couldn't they beat out the Dodgers?
I know. Who cares?
That's what I mean.
These are the playoffs. Exactly. These are the playoffs that Major League Baseball laid out for you. Who the hell cares how you go through it? I don't care what the regular season stats are. Do you? Do any of you?
I want to point something out, though, right now. So if the Giants were so good, why didn't they win the West, right? Cool. Got that. Understood. If the Washington Nationals were so good, why did they lose to the San Francisco Giants?
Right.
And if the Cardinals are so good, why did they lose to the Giants?
The Angels.
If the Pittsburgh Pirates are so good, why did they lose to the Giants? And how about this? Washington won 96 games in the regular season, right?
How the fuck did it lose to an 88-win team?
No. But here's the thing. It's not even just that. So if you look at the season now, Washington won 96 in the regular season and won in the postseason.
The NL East is horrible.
And won in the postseason. So they won 97 games, right? So the Giants have now won 8 games in the postseason. Guess how many that means? They've won 96.
96. They're not even there.
If they win one more, they've equaled the Washington Nationals anyway. So who the fuck gives a shit about this stupid ass, insane way to judge what team is better?
Well, so
it's so stupid.
His judgment of success for a relevant World Series is going to be the number 1 seeds in both leagues making the World Series every year, and that's
face each other, right?
Not going to happen. So why not just eliminate the playoffs?
Well, how about this? Why not just eliminate the regular season while we're at it? And why don't we just have everybody sign some people, and then we'll just look at them and we'll say, "Oh, this team is better. Okay, they win."
Exactly.
I'm just surprised that this made it from a somewhat respected journalist on ESPN.
I like David. I can't believe he wrote it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's what I really love are the comments, because usually you'll find a bunch of trolls. You'll find it split 50-50. You'll find people going, "You're right, boo, this is going to be a horrible World Series."
But no, he got trolled hard.
Oh, dude, it's like more than 90%. You have Yankees fans, even Dodger fan, Cardinal fans, and other fans coming out going, "What the hell are you talking about? The playoffs are there. Everyone knows the structure. If you can't get it done, you don't deserve to be there, period."
That's the bottom line.
Not only that, but regular season baseball, every team doesn't get an equal whatever. And, that's just how it works. And that's fine, because that's just how regular seasons work. You could do something like they do in soccer, and you could have all the teams play each other equally, and then at the end, everyone has a regular season record, and then the top teams play each other. But even in soccer, they still fucking have a playoffs, and that's when it really matters. The playoffs matter. So if you're really gonna try to make an argument that somehow the regular season record means more than the playoffs, you've just lost all respect,
all credibility and respect. Yeah. I agree.
There's just no way to come back from that. You've got the Kansas City Royals, 89 and 73. They've won 8 in a row, so they have 97 wins as far as I'm concerned. They have 97 wins.
Yeah.
The Angels, they have 98, but guess what? They fucking lost when it mattered. And I guarantee that the teams that win the World Series have more wins at the end. And that's where it fucking matters, dude.
Yeah, It's an unfortunate article,
Giants
but
and the Royals will have more wins than the best team in the best teams in the regular season. When it all is said and done, both teams will have more wins than the other teams, and that's how it should. That's how it should be counted, and it should just be counted on. It's hard to get into the playoffs in baseball. This isn't basketball. This isn't hockey. It's not the top 16 teams. It's top 10 teams, and now you still got to win from there. So. It's ridiculous. Like everything he said, as I was reading, I was like, wow. Like,
well, he went further down the rabbit hole when he started talking about strength of schedule and.
Oh yeah, so the Giants.
So it's like 88. They were even lucky to have 88 wins because they have the weakest schedule, and he's just going on and on. Well, it's like, why do you keep digging this hole? It doesn't.
I've never understood
matter.
that.
Not only that, but he went back and edited his article because he said that he said that this was the first time two wildcard teams were in the World Series together. That's what he said in his first iteration of his article.
He missed 2002, huh?
He missed 2002, yeah. And he went back and edited it. And that's the last edit he did. But that edit happened after like a shit ton of comments came in. But the top comment is like, this is a bad article. Schoenfield, you don't deserve to watch the World Series. Not a fan of either team, but you're a fucking idiot. Like, it's just unbelievable. Like just the hate coming to this guy.
Yeah, it's pretty
because
strong.
He's just wrong. He's just straight up wrong. And I mean, maybe he has a team that he's rooting for that he like wanted to go all the way.
He's a Mets fan.
Okay. So does he discount the 69 Mets then? Like
probably.
No, he's like, yeah, the Mets shouldn't have done it because after the first half they should have just kicked them out of the league. Right? They should have just relegated them after the first half. Like there's just stupid. Like there's no reason to ever like make an argument that the postseason doesn't matter. There's just no reason to do that.
Okay, I didn't see this. He posted a new one today. Did you see it? 10 reasons to love this World Series. I shit you not. And he says, I know what some of you are thinking. Hey, aren't you the idiot who just called this the worst World Series ever?
Are you fucking shitting me?
So what's up with this piece, pal? Well, yes, the headline was admittedly a little provocative and certainly stirred up a reaction. Blah, blah, blah. He goes on going, yeah, basically he got a shitstorm. so let me tell you why you'll like this World Series.
I even linked to his piece during my World Series preview.
That makes me lose
that guy was a jackass.
I know.
Like, I love David Schoenfeld, but that was a jackass article.
Yeah, but it's even worse when he comes back going, oh, well, here's 10 reasons you might like it. It's just,
right?
Dude,
no, I don't want to hear your thoughts anymore.
You should probably,
You're done, buddy.
You should probably quit while you're fucking behind on this point.
Right, you see the door over there? That's where you need to go.
At this point, you should just disappear.
That's classic.
Right?
Anyways.
At this point, just disappear.
Stop writing
right
now.
Put your head. Try to suck your own dick and put your head between your legs. Get the hell out of here.
Comments on the 10 reasons to love this post. It sounds like someone was told to write something better.
I know. I think an editor came to him and said, "Yo, that was really bad for us. What you wrote."
Yeah.
And this is why I don't use ESPN for my stats when I write a piece.
Dude, and then like what? Like some of the reasons are one-run drama. Tim Hudson, Greg Blanco, Bruce Bochy. Like it's like, oh, I'm just gonna grab dudes that are like.
He just threw shit out there.
They did the job. Back the hell up.
I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry, buddy, but you don't get a pass anymore. Like you just fucked up.
No, he's done.
Yeah, he's
great.
All right. Why are we gonna win it all? This is my favorite part. This is my favorite part of the show. And normally, as I say a lot of times, this is like a shot in the dark, and we're just pontificating. And we've been doing this all season. We've been talking about why the Giants will win it all. Guess what? It's very fucking real right now. So all you assholes who think that we just are like super positive homers.
Yeah.
Hello.
Our season preview. It's even year.
Wrong.
Sure, why not?
But point two. We are super positive homers, but we're justified.
Yeah. But But guess what? Now I get to shit talk you back. So anyway, all right. Why are we gonna win it all? Ben, start us off, brother.
Well, we're really lucky, and no, it's these are two teams that both have the ability to put pressure on the defense and really generate something out of nothing. But this is a team that's been doing it this entire time. The Royals certainly did some. Don't get me wrong; they did quite a bit, but they've also had some power and some offense. The Giants really, when the home runs dried up, there was not much of anything left. And for a while, they scratched out 12 runs without one base hit. This is kind of old hat at this point. So, I mean, if there is a reason to start with, it's going to be that we're going to look lucky again and that the rest of the country is going to hate us, and it's going to be hilarious. But it's going to be because we're paying attention, we're not making mistakes, and we're really just clamping down and trying to force mistakes out of an inexperienced team.
I love it. That's a great points all around, sir. Yep. All right, Eric, why are we going to win it all?
Well, I asked in the show notes if it was all right, but is it okay if I just keep saying Bruce Bochy? I mean, the guy is phenomenal.
Absolutely is. It absolutely is okay.
You literally have to just repeat the name Bruce Bochy for 30 seconds straight.
I mean, the guy he's the difference maker, and I'm writing a piece that will be up on my site, 2outhits.com, and the hallofverygood.com tomorrow or the next day about how Bruce is a Hall of Fame manager already. I mean, how can you lose a series with Bruce Bochy at the helm? The guy has pushed every right button. Bruce Bochy is the reason that the Giants will win it all.
I don't see a reason to doubt that, and I look forward to the article that you write, because I think you're going to give us a lot of reasons why this is actually going to happen this way. Yeah,
this has been the most fun article I've ever researched. The Hall of Very Good contacted me recently and asked if I'd write something for them. And I'm really, Bochy, he's just a stud. The man delivers. He learned from his Padres years, and us Giants fans, we get the benefit.
Absolutely, we do. It's been a fucking joy to just be a part of this, man. As Giants fans, we don't get to actually be a part of it, but we get to watch a master at work, and that has been Bruce Bochy. All right, Chad, what you got for us? Is Chad here?
I hear dead air.
I had the mute button on.
Chad, what are you doing, brother? Come on, this is radio, brother. You got to
screw you. I'm gonna mute you.
Left the cough button on there a little too long. So they've won 8.5 consecutive postseason series. So why stop now?
Chad's smoking a cigar right now. That's what's happening.
I'm already celebrating. They've also been the underdogs in every single series, and Vegas has KC at slight favorites in this one. So I say play the underdog. They went 8.5 a row. A lot of the experts are picking the Giants again. I mean, why not? Even year. And I got to say another thing, guys.
Wait, who's picking the Giants? What?
No,
people are picking the Giants?
Oh,
even Schoenfield did, to be honest.
Some of them are.
Did he really?
Here.
Oh my god. Well, I guess they're just finally going.
Fuck it.
I guess we shouldn't be wrong.
I've been wrong 9 times in a row. So.
I should be wrong again.
Might as well pick the
Giants. Making me look bad.
So I got a question for you guys. Obviously, the Giants have a little dynasty going. Bruce Bochy is, I think, a lock for the Hall of Fame with the third pennant in 5 years.
Oh, he's a lock. Oh, he's a lock.
I think the Giants
little
win the
dynasty.
Series. I really do. But given where this team was, especially in the second half, and our aspirations of what was going to happen to this team, would you consider, even if they lose the World Series, this season a tremendous success? Because I would right now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, whether we even if we get swept, I would consider this to be a fantastic season for the Giants.
Yeah.
An amazing season for the Giants.
I'm just amazed by this team. And
remember 1989? I thought in 89 it was a fucking amazing series season. Giants.
Well, that was the first taste of any kind of success we've had. I mean, 87, you got beat by the Cardinals.
87 with the Cardinals and all that shit, but whatever. It was
No. Here's my honest opinion. Wait. You love the Giants. honestly, if they don't win the World Series, I'll be crushed. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Season is not a success.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go, oh darn, and go to sleep.
Yeah. This season is not a success unless they win the World Series. That's all that matters. That's all that mattered back in April. That's all that mattered back in March.
You say that right now.
That's not going to change right now.
No, you say that right now, but when you look back on this in like 10 years, you're gonna say like this was a success. Like
no, I don't look back on no. I totally disagree. I don't look back on 2002 as a success. Fuck that. That team got there and they didn't do it. I do not look back on teams that got there.
When you're 5 outs away from winning,
but,
I agree.
But in 20,
they didn't do it. They didn't do it. They weren't good enough.
In 2002, though, we were the better team by a lot. And
really, they didn't win the series.
I would essentially say the Angels were the team that was like surprising the world. In this season, we were never picked to go anywhere past even the regular season. Yeah, so even if they lose the World Series, this has all been amazing. This whole run has been amazing. And I'll never forget the moments I've had along the way.
Yeah. No
Willie,
kidding.
how confident are you in this year's team? You're like 3 times more confident than you were with the team that went against Texas.
Yeah, maybe.
I think so because of their
but I also think
pedigree.
that I've seen this core group of guys win before.
Yeah.
In 2002, I hadn't seen them do shit yet. And so when we got there,
you'd actually seen them do worse than shit.
Yeah.
In 2002, I was like, just please actually do it because I've been waiting for this my whole fucking life.
But we got that in 2010.
No, in 2010, I got it. In 2010, I got the actual like vindication of like, yes, here we go. We did it. In 2012, it was like, damn, we did it again? Are you fucking serious? Damn, that's amazing.
Honestly, I think we're going to remember this year for Travis Ishikawa, but that's going to be about it. When the Giants win the series in 4 or 5 games, nobody's going to remember Travis's home run. They're going to remember the dominance. That's just what I think is going to happen.
Here's what I want. I want and I actually think is very possible is the Giants just literally go in there and just destroy the Royals. And the Royals are like, okay, we need to retool and figure out how to actually win a World Series.
Well, you agree with me. They're going to kill Bumgarner's start, right? Bumgarner's start, they're winning like at least 5-0.
No, I said 6-1. 6-1, the Giants win tomorrow, 6-1. 6-1, the Giants win tomorrow. Then I think we lose game 2 because the Royals are like, we got to come back. And then we come here and we sweep again.
All right, so you're going to 5, huh?
Giants in 5.
Nice.
Yes. Absolutely. I think that. I mean, I might as well go into my why we will win it all, and that's that the Royals haven't faced our pitching yet. The Royals have faced some really inferior pitching in their playoff run so far, and you know, in the AL, pitching is not the focus necessarily. Like, there's some big pitchers out there.
Mm-hmm.
The AL is not full of a bunch of pitchers like Madison Bumgarner. And here's what's going to happen: the Royals are going to come to we're going to come to Kansas City, and we're going to put Madison Bumgarner out on the mound. And the Royals are going to go, man, we're going to get people on first base, and we're going to hit home runs, and we're going to keep our 8-0 streak going. And then Madison Bumgarner is going to be like, you know what? Fuck your face, dude. Here I come. Weird angles of delivery, weird like the delivery you've never seen before. You've never seen any of this shit before. Do you guys remember though that the Royals swept us when we went to Kansas City before?
Yeah.
Remember what the team was looking like at that time?
Yeah, that was when the Giants were in the midst of the worst slump.
Middle of the worst. Yeah, they were just getting going as being like a terrible team in the mid half of the season. This is not that Giants team. This Giants team is going to come and they're going to pitch their asses off. Our hitters are going to continue to have strong at bats, and the Giants are just gonna own them in the first game. I don't think we're going to leave Kansas City up 2-0, though.
No, but you know what? The goal of any season or series like this is to split. That's what they did.
Steal one on the road
for so many of these, including the last one against St. Louis. If you split, you regain home field advantage, and look what they did against the Cardinals. They won 3 in a row, closed it out at home. So I think that's a call. I do think they're going to split too. But KC.
anybody who like says the Royals like they're 8-0 in the postseason, they're unstoppable. You need to just look at the numbers, because the Giants in the postseason, the ERA is 2.18. That's insane, man. As the entire
top to bottom team,
pitching roster,
yeah,
that's insane.
I know the entire team over 10 games is giving up just about 2 runs a game.
Like that's like your ace does that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not your entire team does that. Yeah. And the Giants are going to continue doing that. We've had plenty of time off to rest our guys. And our guys are going to come out fresh, and we're going to win game 1. And once we win game 1 on the back of a Bumgarner, 8 innings, I'm going to say 8 innings, maybe even complete game again. I think the Giants win the first game, 6-1, something like that. And then game 2, hard-fought battle. The Royals maybe pull it out with some weird bullshit, with some steals and whatnot. But then when we get back to San Francisco, then it's just 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We just go. Game after game after game. And it's going to be 4-1 Giants. And they get to celebrate on their home field. Casillas going to get the last out.
No walk-off this time?
New guy. Nope. He's going to be the new guy. Casilla gets the out in the top of the 9th.
Yeah. I think that would be beautiful.
Like a downer breaking ball. It's going to strike out the last guy.
Could you imagine that? Wilson, then Romo, then Casilla in 3 consecutive World Series, closing it out as an indelible image. That'd be pretty sweet.
I can absolutely imagine it.
Yeah.
And I can also imagine watching Hunter Pence run in, freaking out. I can imagine Michael Morse jumping off the bench, getting out there. So fucking excited. All of that is going to happen.
Go.
All of that's going to happen. We need to be together, guys.
I know.
For at least some of us.
I know.
All right.
Be nice.
World Series predictions. We're finishing. I just gave mine.
Yep.
There you go. Giants in 5.
Giants in 5.
Eric, is he back?
No. He had to
No,
go
we
get
got
some.
him yet.
He had to go get some
Beard
supplies.
Step back for a second.
All right, Ben.
Just because I think that this team has been good, but I think that they're going to find a way to make us all just develop palpitations. I think it's going to be Giants in 7. I think that Bumgarner is going to win the first game, and I think that we're going to find ourselves in an unusual position of getting up, and then I think that we're going to lose one of the PV versus Ventura games. Ventura has been pretty good. I think someone's going to surprise Bumgarner, and we're all going to be absolutely astounded, and he'll get caned. I think we lose a Vogelsong start. It'll be tense as hell. And then I think PV finds his moment of, or not PV, Hudson finds a moment of redemption
It's
and
going to be
closes out
Hudson.
the series in Game 7.
Okay. Oh, that would be so good, though. If Hudson wins
That
Game
would be
7.
pretty cool, yeah, on the road.
That would be the ultimate moment.
Petty in his first World Series. We didn't even talk about that, you guys.
What if he goes 8 innings and then Casilla comes in the 9th?
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
Oh, that would be
We didn't even talk about this being Tim Hudson's first World Series.
No, yeah, first.
Yeah,
NLCS.
He's been on a bunch of really good teams.
First everything.
Never got past the division series round.
First everything for this guy. All right, Chad, what's your prediction?
All right. Well, the Giants are 9-1, or sorry, 9-1, 8-1 in their last 2 World Series. So that's a pretty good sign of dominance there. But I think the Giants are going to continue their quote tradition of closing out World Series on the road. So, unfortunately, I would love for them to close at home.
Huh?
I would love for them to close at home, but for some reason, I have a feeling the Royals are going to nab 2. I do think they're going to take, probably Vogie. I mean, look, I'm not down on Vogie. He had those 5 amazing starts in a row, but he had a bump on the road last time, and so I think his streak of dominance is over. So I think they might take the Vogie game, and then either PV or Hudson. I think Bum wins 2, and then it goes back to PV, and PV, with his mad dog attitude, tunes out the crowd and just locks it down in Game 6 in KC. And
Specifically,
Giants
with the
at 6.
2-2-1-1-1 format. I always liked something about the drama of 2-2-1-1-1, but it's 2-3-2 again.
Yeah. It's a lot of travel too.
True. No, I mean, that part I appreciate. Like, I get where it's coming from, and it's fine. I'm just so used to 2-2-1-1-1 and that sort of unusual drama of changing parks back and forth that there was.
I hate
very dramatic about it.
2-2-1-1-1. I hate that. I think 2-3-2 is the way to go forever. It's so much better.
I have no problems with it. It's unusual because a lot of series do go 6 games, so it's hard for that team that they don't have the home field advantage. That's their disadvantage.
Exactly. That's the disadvantage has to be real.
I mean, it's worked out in our favor twice now, but it guarantees it's more likely that you'll get one more playoff game in the.
I mean, in the World Series, it hasn't even mattered for the Giants so far. Like, we don't give a shit. Yeah, we just win.
That's right.
All right, that's gonna do it. Eric is getting beers.
And by the way, he did want to say that he is also taking Giants in 5.
Giants in 5. He said everything Willie said. Cool.
So you're saying majority rules then.
So we got 5, 6, and 7. All right.
We're going to thank Eric for joining us tonight because he's been an incredible guest over the last 3 weeks. And looking forward to another week of Eric next week when hopefully we can say we just won it and we don't even have to worry about it, which would be sick. It would be sick.
Close it out
anyway, we will be back. We will be back on Monday, regardless. No matter who can or cannot make it, we will be back in a week on Monday to talk about what's going on. And we've been really, really stoked to see that our little tiny independent podcast has gotten a lot of new viewers, listeners, I should say. So I want to thank everybody who's joined in. Yeah, I want to thank everybody who's joined in recently, and this run, I'm sure, has something to do with that. But, you guys, I'm sure, are enjoying listening to us. We're enjoying talking about it. And if you are enjoying it, tell your friends about it. Share that shit on Facebook. We're not doing this for money. We're doing this because we love the Giants. And we'll never be non-biased. We will always be biased for you. We'll get in your ears and we'll be positive. And we'll talk about how good the Giants are. Although we will do it objectively to a certain extent.
That's mostly
if you want to follow, exactly. If you want to follow us individually, you can do so. Chad is at ChadK21. Ben is at Fried Duck. I am at Willie Dills. You can also follow us collectively at TortureCast. You can also find us on Facebook. Oh, and Eric is at 2OutHits. The number 2 at OutHits. You can also find us on Facebook. You can also find us on Stitcher. You can find us on... Wait, is that it? There's more places. I guess that's it.
YouTube.
That's enough places. But anyway, subscribe, do all the things, like us, follow us, all of that stuff. And tweet at us, please. Everybody, tweet at us. We love tweeting back at you guys. You guys are the best, Twitter, like the followers of a team. The Giants have that, and we love being a part of that. So keep that shit going and tweet back at us. It's been amazing throughout this entire run, and we'll be drinking Romo bombs, shots, all the things, orange Gatorade, whatever it is. So catch us next time. Episode 76. Will hopefully be the one where we talk about the Giants winning the World Series.
Heck yeah.
We'll see you then. Boom.
A big thank you to everybody for listening to the TortureCast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. Follow us on Twitter at TortureCast. You can also like us on Facebook or check out our blog at TortureCast.com. I also want to say thank you to Ashcon and Bailey for letting us use their song Feeling Like a Giant for our intro. For Ben Lee and Chad King, my name is Willie Dills saying, we'll see you next time.